Man, the hell?
So,
All right.
ready to roll?
Roll this stuff.
Live from Kentucky and Louisiana, two Marines, one mission. This is Sense and Senseless. From the hills to the bayou, stories collide. Brothers in arms, now we're side by side. Sense and senseless, we cut through the noise. Two Southern Marines with that rebel voice. Grab a seat, pour a drink, let's make some sense. Or none at all, it just depends. Sense and senseless.
Hey, guys. Welcome back to Sense and Senseless. I'm Bryan.
And I'm Jason.
He is Jason. All right, tonight, what we're going to talk about? We're going to talk about the Iran war and why we're even there. We're going to talk about the total collapse of trust in our government. A little bit more about surveillance state. This time, we're going to talk about what is the control grid, the same number of pedophiles in this country, and of course, whatever other dumb shit comes out of our mouths tonight.
Mm.
But first, there's a topic we hammer the most, and one that bothers me. It bothers me more than any other topic, and it's why we're so divided. And I want to think back to the State of the Union when Trump asked the members to stand, the ones that agreed with taking care of Americans as our first priority over illegals, or something of that nature. And the image of who didn't stand and who stood became a big problem. And it was because, they wasn't thinking they were taking care of Americans, or however you want to look at it. But when you see that optic, all I see is a divided nation. And I can't understand why our politicians would want to give us that kind of optic. Do they not care about the American people? Or do they just hate the other side so much that, they won't stand for anything that they agree with? They can't find any common ground. So, pretty much, fuck you. Yeah, I don't care about American people because I can't stand and go against illegal immigrants only because it's you, the one that's bringing the attention to it. It's you can't like something because they like something. That is so fucking childish, and I just can't understand that. And we all know people like this. And when I was thinking about this, it's the same people at little league games that wants to fight everybody because their kid is the best thing that's ever been out on the little league ballpark, and he's gonna little Johnny is gonna be, the whatever all-star, Hall of Fame, Major League Baseball player.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a whole bunch of them. Most of them just peaked. They peaked in high school. We all know these guys, and they never emotionally grow up.
Mm-hmm.
But the world we live in doesn't help, contain this behavior. And then instead of trying to contain it and put it in check, we flame it. And I don't understand why. We give these people more and more shit to be mad about every day. I mean, if you turn on the news for 5 minutes and the message is clear, everything's broken, everybody's angry, and the country is split straight down the middle. And you look at the optics we're constantly shown. It's public moments that should be shared priorities turn into silent protests, side taking, and political theater. What you're meant to see isn't cooperation, it's division. And the question should be asking why. Is it really because everyday people hate each other? Or is it because we're being shown over and over again that we're supposed to hate each other? This division isn't accidental, it's deliberate. And it flows from the top down. And we talk about this a lot. And the other night, Jen asked me, why this bothers me so much. And this bothers me because we have extreme people on both sides of the political argument. And these people aren't just just sitting at home. I mean, these people, these extreme people, they just wishing a motherfucker. I just wish a motherfucker would. All day they just walk around with, just tense because they just wishing a motherfucker. And you might know somebody like that. No matter what is said or is shown to them, they will protect their political party and beliefs. No matter what evidence you bring or any argument you bring, they're going to protect whoever it is. And it's only because they follow them blindly. It's the same as why the group of politicians didn't stand up with the other politicians when they were asking that question. So why do I think this is the case? Well, the biggest reason is because simple-minded people will always think they're right, and they have to be right. Everything they support has to be right. Being right and having an echo chamber on social media and on their social circle reinforces their beliefs as critical. So they need someone to constantly tell them they're right. And this is how they are being played. They wake up every day just angry at people they don't know because someone is convincing them that their neighbors are bad. This isn't lived experience, people. I mean, this is the media they consume. Logical people are not going to go in the streets and start fights because someone is telling them to. A logical person isn't going to go march down the street with guns, just because someone told them to. A logical person is going to take care of his home, protect his home, and he's not going outside and start shit. He's just not. The problem is we don't have a whole lot of logical people. Why we don't have more logical people? I think it's because everyone today has to be right. And the fucked up part is the more you question these people, the more they lock in on their beliefs, whether they're right or wrong. We have a bunch of people, though, that will go out and protest or counter protest. We also have a bunch of people in this country that train for this shit, just waiting for something to pop off. Most of these people will follow their cause blindly because they know their cause is right. But how do we know they are right if they're not questioning what they believe? All we need is a fuse to pop this shit off. And this is what bothers me. Now, if you bring this to today, Trump's poll numbers aren't great. Most midterm elections go against the newly elected president's party. Given the history of this, Republicans are set to lose House seats in November. Democrats already talking about impeachment of Trump and cabinet members, as well as investigation into the Trump administration when they take over the House again. They want to put people in jail. Right now, the Democrat Party believes that the Trump administration is weaponizing the White House against the Democrats. And the Republicans feel that the Trump administration isn't doing enough to bring justice for the alleged crimes of the Democrats. Okay, so we already have two angry parties. So let's add in some more political witch hunts in the equation after the midterms. We'll have a bunch of small fires building that can likely result into a huge fire. Think about it. There have been protests and violence from lesser issues already. And so imagine what will come should we keep this division up. We're being pushed into a false choice. Pick a side or be an enemy, red or blue, us or them. Agree with everything or be rejected completely. And too often we accept that setup without questioning who benefits from it. Think about your own community for a second. How different are you really from your neighbor? Sure, there's some weird cats, and some of us are the weird cats. But most people want the same damn things. Roof over your head, food on the table, a decent job, a family they can take care of. If we can agree on that, we already have more in common than we're told. We may argue about how to get there, but the destination isn't all that different. Yet we're constantly told the person wearing the other team's color is our enemy. That belief is pushed so hard that it starts to feel normal, even though it's completely irrational. We've been divided into tribes and convinced that this is just how things are supposed to be. It's time to fucking wake up. You have far more in common with the person down the street who voted differently than you do with people in power who profit from keeping you angry, distracted, and divided. And that's the part that should bother you the most. We argue over entertainment. We argue over sports, cultural moments, and as if they're life or death political statements. Why? Because we're conditioned to see everything through a partisan lens. Meanwhile, the people pulling the strings play both sides, take your money, and move on untouched. They control the narrative. They stir the outrage. They benefit from the fucking chaos. But you don't have to buy into it. If we ever want to get back to working together for the good of the country, we have to reject the lie that this is about one side versus the other. It isn't. It's about ordinary people versus a system that thrives on division. The moment we stop playing the game, the moment we meet each other in the center and take a breath, their power weakens. And that's exactly why they don't want us to do it. Think, Jason.
It's crazy, man. Because I didn't watch the State of the Union. I'd seen bits and pieces of it, but I don't care what you think. You said it well. They hate this man so much, he could tell them 100% the truth and they would still argue with it, knowing it's the truth just because they hate him.
Yep.
And if he told them, don't go kill your kid, they go in there and kill their kid because they hate him that much, that they're going to do the opposite. There's people, I don't understand that. I mean, I didn't care for Biden because of his mental capacity, dude. And I damn sure didn't want Kamala in that sucker because, I mean, dude, she looked like that drunk lady just walking around.
She did.
We're just gonna, you know, that
talk in circles.
Yeah, that drunk aunt or whatever that shows up that just don't make any damn sense. And I mean, really, you want that leading your country? It's like, geez, I don't. And he asked a simple question. Please stand if you put Americans before you do illegal immigrants. And they sat on their keisters.
Yeah. And that's sad.
I mean, that should swing the vote right there. That should damage them because who's voting for that?
He wasn't talking about any other nationalities. He was talking about Americans. If you're an American, stand for an American, not nationalities.
Yes.
Over illegals. People that don't belong in this country.
Yes.
I mean, it's pretty straightforward. And if you don't support that.
Yes.
But here's the thing that I really want to get through is if you don't support that and I support, you know, how he is, let's have that conversation. You know, it shouldn't be that we just get online and start bashing each other. And I didn't notice it until I started reading some of the comments because you said, you know, read the comments. And I never realized how back and forth everyone is about the same shit. It's dumb. That's what got me to thinking about this. And because Jennifer was asking me the other night, we was outside and she's like, what's wrong? I thought, yeah, I'm just tired of just people just being so dumb. And she's like, what you mean is they got a one-track mind. I mean, once they start thinking about something, they have to be right. It doesn't matter what information you bring in front of them. They have to be right. And I just don't understand that. I can't fathom living like that. No. You know, don't get me wrong. Everybody gets a little pride when they do something and they do something right. Everyone's going to do that.
Bryan, I don't have to be right all the time. I want to know the right thing. I don't understand where we go from that to that. Why do we have to be right other than knowing the right thing?
Yeah. I get exactly what you're saying. That's how I think we should be. I don't know why we got to that. I thought most people were that way until the people that you deal with, you start to see that, you know, that you deal with daily or even like this. And I don't understand it. It's like if you question them, you know, they get all like mad. It's like, I'm not trying to take something from you. I'm trying to understand why you think that way. You know, you don't have to get so damn defensive. And I don't know if it's because of sense of belonging, maybe. And that's the other thing I told her. So the analogy I used is it's the same mentality. I love the Saints. You love the Bears. I love shit talking with the Atlanta Falcon fans. Whenever you get with the Atlanta Falcon fans, it is fucking a blast.
Same thing for us and the Packers. Talking.
Yeah. And there's no violence.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, don't get me wrong. Now I'm about to get to that. There are some idiots. Then you have the idiots, right? That they'll fight with another fan just over the team. You're not even getting paid by these teams. You paying to be at the damn game.
And they're
Right.
throwing fists at a
Yeah,
game.
and you
Why?
it don't make any damn sense.
Yeah.
I just can't understand that kind. You see it as a team, so
Right.
they separate you in a tribe.
Right.
Now you can't like this person because he wears a green uniform and you wear a red uniform. So now
Right.
y'all can't like each other. That's the mentality that they driving.
Right.
I just thought about this. I don't know if that's why they have sports set up that way, but it creates this, and that's everybody. Well, I can't say everybody, but a lot of people get stuck in this rut. And there's actually, and I had to say, but I didn't know if I wanted to say it, but there's actually people around all of us, that are doing these what you call it, not military thing. You corrected me last week on it too. You're allowed to have them in your state. You get a whole bunch of guys together with guns and y'all train together.
Militia.
Yeah. Everyone has militias around them. I mean, you see these guys. I mean, I see them at the range. It don't bother me, but I know they're ready to fight somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's not that they're bad people, but when they come talk to you, I mean, they're like rabid animals.
Right.
They just, it's like, calm down, dude. I mean,
Yeah.
we just at the rifle range. So I know there's people out there just waiting for this shit to pop off. And I don't want any of that to happen. It's like, how do we bring this back to center? And that's what scares me. That's the reason why it bothers me so much, is because I know we have people that are disillusioned out there that believe that each other party hates them, and in some cases they might hate each other, but we got to get past all that shit. And that's why it bothers me.
Yeah. Because we're feeding into the, I like to compare it to when I was little watching like WWF at the time, and then they had to change their name, or WCW, or professional wrestling, the Memphis wrestling. We called it Channel 7 wrestling, that had Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee and all them on there. And you had the good guys and the bad guys. And I didn't think at any time growing up that anybody liked the bad guys at all.
Yeah, I was the same way.
I didn't realize it was I like this person, they like this person. I thought that there was a good guy and everybody loved the good guys and nobody liked the bad guys. And I thought, man, that sucks that the bad guys don't have nobody that likes them. But come to find out, when you get older and you still watch that stuff, and I'm not dogging on anybody that watches it. I'll watch it. I'll turn it. If I catch it on, I'll watch it for a little bit. Them dudes are athletic. But anyways, people like both. And they did back then too, and I didn't understand that.
I didn't know that either. But now you think back, why would they have merchandise if people didn't like them? So it does make sense.
Yeah. So there was people out there that liked the dude that everybody thought was, well, what did they call it? The heel and the I forget. Yeah, they got names for it. But
so
anyways,
they really liked the Iron Sheik.
Yeah, who liked the Iron Sheik, or freaking or Jimmy Hart when he was a bad manager, and the Undertaker when he was a bad dude. And I mean, you always loved it when they crossed the line and they came back as a good dude, but then you really hated it like when somebody who's that one wrestler? I really liked him. He's the lead singer for Fozzy, the heavy metal group.
I have no idea.
Geez, what was his?
I don't watch wrestling, and I don't know Fozzy.
You never heard of Fozzy?
No.
Yeah, Chris Jericho.
Okay, I didn't know he was in a band.
Yeah,
I know
Fozzy.
who he is.
F-O-Z-Z-Y. And I remember the night that he turned bad. Like, he was a good dude and all that, and he'd do that. I forget what his finishing move was. And then all of a sudden, somebody came out there to help him or whatever because he was getting his butt beat. They gang rammed him or whatever in the ring, and that probably
gang raped him.
Yeah. Sorry, we were talking about.
Did it peel all to come off?
Yeah, we were talking about Bonnie Blue tonight before we got on here. So,
like Elmer's glue.
Yeah,
all over Joe. What was
but
it,
anyways,
Jericho?
Yeah, some dude came in there and helped him out, and he turned on that dude, and I was devastated. That crap would get you as a kid, man. You were like, when Hulk Hogan turned and went to the NWO, the New World Order, it was like, no. And It was like, I don't know, man. It's emotions, man. They play to our emotions.
Well, just think about how you felt as a kid. There's grown ass people that think like that right now about politics.
I know.
I mean, they can't see. That's a great analogy. They can't see that wrestling's fake, and they can't see this political shit is fake.
It is. It's about money, man. All these people are in there is making money. That's what they're doing.
This deal.
They're paid off, they're bought off, and they're making money. But next, let's
All right.
continue.
So they keep us. They keep us divided because they don't want us to see what's really going on. Remember when we talked about the millions we're sending every week to the Taliban?
Mhm.
Well, there was this guy on, I think he was testifying in front of the Senate. Listen to this. This is a little quick clip. All right, there you go.
Are you aware that we are sending $40 million a week to the Taliban?
Yes, sir.
Can you name other instances of foreign aid going to terrorist organizations?
We have assisted al-Shabaab in Somalia. There's been instances of the Hamzi network in Sudan, Hamas, Islamic Jihad, Hezbollah, Kataib al-Hezbollah, Hayat Tahrir al-Shams in Syria. Dozens of terror organizations have received indirect assistance from U.S. foreign aid.
Really?
Yeah, he was even rolling his R's and all that, dude. It sounded like he was fluent in that. He was like,
I mean, that right there proved that he knew what the fuck he was talking about to me.
I mean, it sounded like a husband asking his wife, "Hey, did you know that Amazon's getting about $100-$200 of ours every month?" Yeah. Well, what else? Well, the electric company's getting about this. It was no big deal.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it just rolled off his tongue. I mean, like he's been waiting. He's just like itching. He was just wishing the motherfucker would ask him that question. Yeah. Let me tell you.
But jeez, man, these people, they don't even care, man. They don't even care anymore.
No, I mean, do you think the great people of the United States of America know that we're just handing money to
Terrorists?
to terrorists? I mean, people that hate us.
No, but people, yes, but the people that don't want to agree that we need to stop this will sit there and say that ain't happening. I mean, the dude just said it is. They're questioning that guy. They're not saying, "Hey, have you heard this?" That dude's involved in it. He's probably writing the check.
He knows somebody that knows somebody, if nothing else.
Yeah, I mean,
because he was pretty confident. He was spitting.
Yeah, he's not narking on somebody. He's probably involved in it, and you guys are like, no.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what he has in that, but I just figured I'd share that. It was a little eye opener.
Yeah. No, I knew that. I heard that, and I mean, what do you do, Brian? I mean, who do we? I wish my name was Taliban, and I was getting 400 or 40 million a week.
Well, this division is a perfect distraction to drag us into another damn war. And I'm gonna go over some stuff about our relations with Israel and shit, and just jump in, stop me anytime you want, Jason. Just give us a little background of the United States and Israel relationship. So the relationship between the U.S. and Israel is a strategic partnership rather than a one-sided dependency. So Israel relies heavily on us for our military funding and diplomatic support. We rely highly on Israel for intelligence and battle-tested technology. So basically, Israel is the research and development for like intelligence, basically. And they have a hub for like all these companies and these big fucking companies. So they got over 300 multinational corporations, including Intel, Google, Microsoft, and IBM. And they operate R&D centers in Israel. And these centers develop core products. For example, Israel-designed processors have historically accounted for up to 40% of Intel's global sales. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
I did not know that either.
I went with an AMD processor on my new computer. My one I'm using now has got an Intel. I guess I was supporting Israel's R&D.
Well,
when I was also looking at Israel, I was curious on, what do they do? Like, what is their economy? And some of it's
Controlling
like,
America. That's what their economy is, dude.
yeah, well, that too, but I mean, most of it's intelligence, and then like cutting diamonds and shit. So I guess they're really good
Diamond
jewelers, but
cutters.
no,
Yeah.
it didn't say anything about like bricklayers and shit like that. I don't know.
So instead of he went to Jared's, he went to Israel's. He went to
there you go.
Israel's. Look, he went to Israel's.
Well, so the trade between the two nations is estimated at $55 billion in 2024. So what they're saying is that Israel creates jobs for us, and with Israel, we have about 255,000 American jobs created. Yeah, that's kind of, I don't know how you look at it. This is part of the 3.8 billion we give them each year to buy our weapons. And the primary beneficiaries in the U.S. from those weapon sales to Israel are a small group of major defense contractors and the American workforce they employ, because approximately 80% of U.S. military aid to Israel must be spent on American-made hardware. These sales create a direct revenue loop for the United States defense industry. So who are those players? Well, we got Boeing, we got Lockheed Martin, RTX, which was formerly Raytheon, we got General Dynamics, and Caterpillar. I was curious about Caterpillar, but they got the D9 armored bulldozers that they buy most of it. So this all generates our jobs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we giving them money to give us money back to buy shit to send back to them. That's creating jobs. I mean, that's creating jobs the same way Joe Biden created jobs by doing the Infrastructure Act and building new roads and building shit, taking the taxpayers' money to pay somebody. I mean, that's not creating jobs. I mean, you just spending our money for people to work.
Mm-hmm.
And that just asinine to me, but they wasn't doing no better.
Mm-hmm.
So these companies, make a pretty good penny with them. And I think I seen earlier today that a lot of these companies were being called to the White House to speak with Trump. But I don't have that information here, but I seen that earlier. So how about the executives with these companies? Well, the CEO from Lockheed Martin in 2024 to 2025 reported to receive compensating packages in a range of $24 million. 24 million.
24 millions.
So another thing
But
I
hey,
looked
dude,
at
that ain't what the Taliban got. They got 40 million a week, Brian. Shit.
Well, hold on. We ain't done with this shit yet.
Maybe he's going to look at going to the Taliban instead of Lockheed Martin.
Yeah, no, but see, the Taliban, that's the whole group. This is one person
Still.
that got the 24 million.
Still.
So why are we talking about...
You think I'm not going to make that comment. I about called him the RH. You think them Hajis over there are getting 40 million, dude? It's a couple dudes.
Going on what you said, RH.
Yeah. I'm trying not to be. But you think the Taliban, that the Hajis, the low dudes there are getting any of that money? Heck no, dude. They're getting rice and beans or whatever the heck they eat. Hummus. That's all they're getting, in some beat up AK-47s.
That money's gone. That money's going to their church. What they call that stuff? Whenever
the
you
mosque.
pick up money. No, not their church.
Their tithes and offering
for the building fund.
The building fund, yeah.
It's going to the mosque building
fund. It's a love offering.
So while we're talking about Lockheed Martin, you heard of the THAAD missile system?
No, I'd never heard of that.
Okay, I didn't either till a few weeks ago. So the THAAD missile system is THAAD. It's thermal high altitude air defense. Its role is in terminal phase ballistic missile. It's short to intermediate range threats. This thing costs 12 to 15 million per interceptor.
Per missile?
Yeah, one interceptor missile. And the full battery, the full setup of this thing costs $1 to $2+ billion. Right now, we got 10 batteries filled and production ramping up due to demand.
Jeez.
All right, so check this shit out. So we're using these high-cost fucking missiles
to shoot down $20,000 to $50,000 drones. So if that's true from what I read, that's like $240 to one. That's your money.
Yeah. So my tax dollars hard at work.
Yeah.
The math ain't mathin'.
Yeah, and who's making all those missiles? Lockheed Martin.
Lockheed Martin.
I mean, this is just major revenue for these motherfuckers. I mean, why wouldn't they want us to be in war?
I mean, they don't make money if we ain't fighting somebody.
No. Yeah. So in January 2026, Lockheed signed a landmark framework agreement with the U.S. Department of Defense to quadruple the THAAD interceptor production from the whopping 96 per year to around 400 per year over the next 7 years. Ramping up starting at fiscal year 2026. So they were making 96 a year. They're going to quadruple that. That's a lot of math right there. It's a lot of math. That's a lot of money.
Yeah. The monies.
Yeah, so it says per interceptor cost remains around $12.77 million. That's as of fiscal year 2025 figures. So scaling up to 400 a year could generate billions in annual revenue from the THAAD alone, roughly $5+ billion a year at full rate. Lockheed reported $75 billion in totals in 2025, up 6% year over year, with a record $194 billion still in backlogs. So it's 2.5 times the annual sales in backlog work. And this is heavily boosted by the missile defense ramps, including the THAAD and the PAC-3. Forecast for 2026, Lockheed forecasted at 77.5 to 80 billion in revenue. That's above expectations.
They're going to get an exceeds on their review at the end of the year.
That's right. So what else do they make for the U.S. military?
Oh,
So
they make a lot of stuff.
Yep, they got the F-35 Lightning. And second, that's the 5th generation stealth multi-role fighter used by the Air Force, Marine Corps, and the Navy. The F-22 Raptor, the C-130J Super Hercules, the THAAD interceptor missiles. They have the PAC-3, which is just the Patriot missile, the Patriot Advanced Capability, 3 missile segment enhancement. Some other long-range missiles, the cruise missiles, the Hellfire, the Black Hawk. And they even do space shit. They got satellite, spacecraft, all this shit they make for the government.
Wonder whatever happened to Grumman. Wonder why Grumman ain't on here. They were big on military stuff too.
Yeah, Northrop Grumman still does a lot. They just wasn't on my list.
Okay.
They wasn't up.
You ain't picking on them today.
No. Well, I picked this person out because I just seen what they got, for last year, 24 million. So I mean, this is
them F-35s and that F-22s are pretty badass though.
No, I'm not saying they're not, but
yeah,
they make more money with them things crashing.
Yeah, I know they do.
Yeah. So 80 billion a year, and this. Do you think this is why politicians want war?
Yeah, that's why they do. I mean, like I said, you can't make money. I mean, you can't just stockpile this stuff. I mean, they got to stockpile, but as soon as that's met, it stops and they don't make money. So they need the stockpile to go bye-byes. Even when remember at WTI in Yuma, there was no live fire. It was all simulated. So they had like those sensors on the missiles, and it was like wearing that like the miles gear on a troop on a plane, and they simulated dogfighting and all that. Because that would have been really badass if they had that for real. Like, sir, you're going up today. What? Yeah, we don't care for you. You're going up. No. I don't know how to fly a plane. Well, guess what? You're going to figure it out today. You're probably not coming back. You might as well sign your paperwork. But anyways, at CAX, though, what do we do, Brian? We drop live bombs, remember? So no telling the amount of money back in 93 and they're still doing it. How much money that they spend just doing exercises and training. And we had the technology back then to do simulated stuff that didn't require us to drop live stuff. But guess what?
People like train the way you're going to fight.
No, come on, dude. Lockheed ain't gonna make no. Will you stop taking up for people wasting our money?
No,
Lockheed's not gonna
look. Training is not a waste of money.
No, it's
in my
not.
opinion.
It's not. But there's technology, and it was there in the early 90s to simulate dropping the same bombs that you're not going through your stash. But
Now,
Lockheed don't make
like
no money if we don't drop live stuff.
I agree with that, but in training though, like in our job, well, my role before I went with you in the attack center,
Right.
in direct air support, I mean, you want whatever live shit you can get because it's call for effect. You're trying to see what's going on, and I'm sure the Marines out there, just when you shoot a gun, it's a lot different than whenever you just you got a little laser shooting out of it. You need to hear that stuff for repetition. That's the only reason I'm saying that.
But we had blanks, so we were firing blanks with the Miles gear. You had that red cap on the end to keep if
we did.
Yes.
I'm using that analogy for you when
Yes.
you're dropping bombs. That's the analogy I'm giving. So if you're in close air support, you're still going to hear that stuff. You know what I'm
Right.
getting at?
Right.
So it kind of puts you back in. Now, do you need to be shooting $12 million fucking missiles? No. But just dropping ordnance that they would use just to give you some effects of war, I guess. You just train. You fight how you train. So
Right. Yeah, I don't
Oh.
know. I just felt like we spent a lot of money.
Oh, I'm not gonna say we didn't waste money.
Yeah. There was a lot of and then pilots lying all the time too, telling us when we would get what was that report we would get when they got done dropping, they come back and give us a report we had to fill out, like I forget what it was, like what percentage of the target was hit. Yeah, it was always 100 over 100. Like that's like in my job, like you went like 8 months without nobody having a safety violation. Man, my dudes are badass.
That's right. That's right.
Those pilots were badass too until they weren't. But anyways, yeah, I'm just saying, I think there's just been a lot of waste, and what ramps that waste up even more, Brian, is when we go into a conflict. I mean, Biden attacked other countries. Obama, that came up too. Everybody's mad that Trump did this without congressional vote. He's allowed to. It's in the Constitution, or it's in the laws that he can do it up to a certain amount of time without Congress having to vote on it. Obama did it. Biden did it. Everybody's done it.
I'm not arguing that. I'm upset with Trump because I believe that we wouldn't get into shit like that.
No, he said no more wars.
Yeah, we shouldn't be over there, in my opinion.
No.
And we're going to talk about it a little more tonight. But so
I know.
this is what they're doing with all this money and all this money moving around is, in my opinion, and I can't prove this, the reason why we have politicians like Lindsey Graham that just want to send us to war all the time.
Mhm.
Listen to this son of a bitch. Like, check this out.
When you look at the last few years since October 7th, many people in this part of the world say what happened in Gaza does not align with Christian values. Killing children, killing mothers,
I'll be honest
killing
with you.
families who are not militants.
Yeah, I don't buy that at all.
Why?
Because what did we do in World War II? Did we think 1 minute about starving the Germans? Did we bomb every city into to smithereens? So this is a war. No,
October 7th to World War II.
Yes, I am. This is an absolute existential threat to the Jewish people. What happened on October the 7th was 1,200 people were slaughtered, raped, and murdered and filmed by radical Islamists who would kill every Jew if they could, to the world. If you don't understand this is a threat to Israel's
And then they
survival,
flattened Gaza.
just flatten it. We flattened Berlin. We flattened Tokyo. Were we wrong to drop an atomic bomb to end the Japanese reign of terror? Were we? So my view, if I were Israel, I would have probably done it the same way. Without military victory, there is no hope of breaking radicalism. We flattened Germany. We flattened Japan.
How many Americans
Wait a
believe
minute.
this?
Out of that, we
the way that how many Americans think the way that you do?
I think most Republicans think the way I do.
Even young ones.
You're just out of touch if you don't understand Republicans, when it comes to radical Islam, is on Israel's side. It's not even close.
He sounded like some Mormon preacher trying to mind screw you into believing all that stuff. I mean,
Yeah, I don't like Lindsey Graham. He I don't know. I never liked Lindsey Graham.
he sounds like a preacher you don't leave your kids alone with.
Well, you can see how rabid he is. You know, he's pissed. And don't get me wrong. When that shit that happened on October 7th, and from what the video that I've seen, and you know all the things that they've done to the people in Israel, I understand why you would want to go out and just tear these people apart. I get that. But at some point, you got to take a step back and say, "Hey, look, you know, you're going a little too far." And I think that's where we were getting at. Because if Mexico did that to us,
Right.
right, I would feel the same way. Let's go flatten Mexico. But there has to be somebody that's, you know, has a logical head and says, "Hey, look, all these people don't deserve this. It was these people that did this.
Right.
You know, why are we killing all these other people?" So,
well, so here's, but it's a touchy subject because I'm not going here, but I am. Didn't everybody say that Hitler was trying to genocide the Jews, like he was trying to clean them plumb out?
That's what they say. Yes.
Okay, so are the Jews not, when they went in there and did that to Gaza, the way they did it to civilians and babies and all that stuff, that looks like a genocide too, doesn't it?
Yeah, it definitely does.
So in my mind, like, okay, so them dudes, what, parachuted or glided in or whatever and killed a bunch of Israelis or something right before that October 7th or whatever deal is. If Israel is going to retaliate, we should have why do the United States have to get involved in that?
yeah, I agree with you. But
you know, if Israel's concerned about Iran having a nuclear weapon and wanted to go blow up their nuclear facility, then why did we have to send B-52 bombers over there or stealth bombers?
Oh, I agree with that too. And we're going to get into that tonight.
Yeah, just let them handle it. Why don't we guys keep being everybody's big brother and partner?
I don't know. I don't understand. And this is a problem I'm having right now is why are we the moral compass of the world?
We don't need to be, because we need to get our morals fixed, dude. I'm just being honest.
That's my point.
Yeah.
I don't understand that at all.
There was this show called Pure Country with I can't remember that country singer or whatever, but when he did that girl dirty, he went to that girl's dad, and the dad was saying, you know what, that George Strait, yeah, that clear part of chicken shit on the outside, that's chicken shit too.
Yeah.
You can't sit there, you know what I'm saying? You can't sit there and have that mentality, well, I know my morals ain't perfect, but they're better than yours. I mean, that's like telling your kid, you don't have to be the fastest kid, just don't be the slowest kid. That's just bad advice to give.
That's the whole problem, though. We play the hypocritical thing all the time. It's, you know, I might be fat, but I'm not as fat as that one.
Yes.
We do it all the time. It's
Yes.
just that's the way the American way is. So yeah, I know Trump's doing this, but what about Biden? We got to get away from those arguments. It has to be, all right, so where we're at now.
Yeah.
We got to get better. We're never going to get better if we're always looking back.
Yeah. No, I totally understand what I was getting about, like, because I know what we're referring to, the files we talk about every week. I don't think we're talking about it this time, but guess what? It's coming up again, because it always does, the Epstein files. And when I said, why didn't Biden and them release? And you're like, that's not the point. Well, to me, I'm wanting to understand why because I'm telling you, there's a lot of everybody's tied to that thing somehow, right?
Oh, I agree with that. I agree with you.
That's why nobody has released the things. That's why nobody. It's
That's why
not
he
just
wasn't
getting
prosecuted the first time when he was in Florida.
Yes, it's.
I mean, the dude had some stroke. Why did he have stroke? We'll never know.
Yeah.
I'm thinking we'll never know. That shit goes deep, and we just got so much to talk about tonight. I didn't get a chance to really put it in there, but we are going to cover some pedophile shit though, because that shit is just not going away.
No, it's not, and it's a nasty business. It's disgusting.
Yeah, it is. All right, so
but back to Lockheed and war.
we were just talking about looking at old Lindsey Graham and him fucking scowls, spitting everywhere because he was fucking spitting. He was spitting mad.
Oh, he was. He even looked at the camera like, America, you better get on board with this.
Let me tell you something about you that you don't know.
No. If you don't do this, you're going to hell. No.
I think this is Tucker. I don't know. I got this thing written wrong. So I think this is Tucker on Lindsey Graham. Let's see if this is right. Hold on.
I think Bibi is completely evil.
Nope.
And completely destructive. And he's hurting the United States, and he's destroying his own country, and I think he imperils the world. Okay, so I think that clearly they're going to try and blow up Al-Aqsa Mosque. I believe that. On the Temple Mount to build a third temple, and then you've got global war. So, like, he's a threat. But am I madder at him or Lindsey Graham? It's not even close.
I was going to mention...
Bibi Netanyahu is a foreigner, and he's trying to do what he thinks he should do for himself and his country. I get that. What's Lindsey Graham's excuse? What's Ted Cruz's excuse? Ted Cruz says right into the camera, I was elected, my main goal was to help Israel.
I came into Congress with the stated intention of being the leading defender of Israel in the United States Senate.
Right.
And I've worked every day to do that.
Really?
Ted
How
Cruz
could you
was
get elected on a platform
So
in which you say publicly, my main goal is to help another country? This is deranged. Where's our self-respect? I don't want to even think about it. I'm not interested. I'm very interested in how American leaders could betray their own country. That enrages me.
Yep. I agree with Tucker.
Mm-hmm.
BB can want one thing, but I mean, these guys work for us. And how about the rest of our good old politicians? So I did a little digging into this. So there's 535 voting members in Congress. This is the House and Senate.
Mm-hmm.
Of the 535, 396 of them were supported by AIPAC or an AIPAC affiliate. All right, so roughly 75% of our politicians are supported by Israel.
Mm-hmm.
98% of the politicians supported by Israel win or hold their seat. And most of this information you can get from opensecrets.com. They got a lot of information on there about all countries that, give money and lobby and send shit over here. It's pretty interesting. So to add to this, the pro-Israel lobbyists spent roughly $5 million on politicians in 2024. And the top recipients since 1990, we had Joe Biden at over 4.2 million. Robert Menendez, he's an independent out of New Jersey. He got over 2.5 million. Kamala Harris, our former vice president, she got over 2.3 million. And Mitch McConnell, old Republican out of your state of Kentucky.
Dude, I don't claim
over
that cat.
1.9 million.
He's like that weird uncle you just don't claim.
I mean, is this why we have politicians holding on to the end, though? I mean, are they stuck and they can't leave because like the gang, gang mentality, blood in, blood out? So they just, Mitch McConnell.
Dude, why? It's like a job, Brian, that maybe, what else is he going to do other than make money? I mean, he's making money for his next generation, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, old turtle looking motherfucker.
Oh yeah, he's
he looked like an old dried up dickhead.
Yeah.
Like if he was a penis.
He's an elephant penis. We were talking about that earlier. That's what he's sitting there scratching the elephant's belly.
or whatever sound the elephant makes.
Every time I see,
when it scratches his belly with its dick.
yeah. Ooh.
Oh shit!
Now every time I see Mitch McConnell, I'm gonna think of that.
All right, just to be fair, that the other top foreign spender lobbying spenders in the world. So China, since 2016, China spent around 534 million. Japan 464 million. Saudi Arabia 387 million. And that same time frame, Israel sits in around 212 million. All right, but that's what they have listed under FAR, under the registration of foreign registration.
Mm-hmm.
Now they still have all that money that they get through APAC. Now, if you remember when we went through the PACs and super PACs, a country can't donate directly to a candidate, or they can't have really anything to do with it. So I'm not saying they actually do this, but they could possibly do this, wash their money through super PACs like APAC.
Yeah,
so APAC, hold on a second. Got lost here. So APAC, they have 5 to 6 million pro-Israel American members and supporters. These aren't foreign agents. These foreign agents would have to register as FAR. So they got 5 to 6 million pro-Israel American member supporter here in our country. The amount of money they spend over here is ridiculous. Right now in 2026 midterms update, it's looking between 95 to 96 million on hand. Part of the pro-Israel group's 100 million plus war chest they plan on spending on the midterms this year. That's crazy. I don't understand, first of all, how we allow that in this country.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't found any other countries that have super PACs that actually work for them.
Mm-hmm.
Or if they do, they don't put, it's not like American, Chinese,
Yeah, it's not out there. It's not known. I mean, ours is known, and we still people are like, oh, yeah, okay. I mean, that's what I was fixing to say about that APAC. Bryan, I had no idea about that. Now, I knew about the PAC because at work, I told you that they tried to get us to sign up for it, and they offer like Xboxes and iPads, and they do these big drawings like 3 or 4 times a year because they want you to donate money, because the company can't donate money. That's illegal, but people can donate money.
Because you're volunteering your money back to them.
Yes. But the APAC, the PAC is bad enough because you're basically saying you want my money to go pay somebody off to vote a certain way. Once again, like that ex-military dude saying he would not give his buddy money for running because you're going to get bought. That's the buying. There's the buying thing that happens. Now you got other countries, Israel, that have handlers over here that are buying, that are pushing our votes. They're paying for us to vote certain ways, Bryan. That's scary. We need to stop.
What's scary is we're not voting. They're voting.
They're voting, yes. That's what I'm getting at. They're voting.
They're taking the vote out of our hands.
Yes.
That's the scary thing.
Right.
And hold on, even worse than that. Watch these some brain dead politicians. This is what we got in office that's getting pushed around by fucking Israel and all these other countries. Check this out.
Look at this. The guy's brain dead. The guy is literally brain dead in public.
All right, I gotta stop this. Tell me that don't look like a fucking old sad penis.
It does, dude. Look at that chin. You know how you get that red nose from drinking alcohol too much when you're old? That big old look. He did something so much his chin is red and swollen. What's that from? I'm not. Probably something nasty. Go ahead and play it on. All
right, I'm gonna start it back from the beginning. It's only a few seconds. So here we go. Let's run it again.
Yeah.
Look at this. The guy's brain dead. The guy is literally brain dead in public. Okay? He'll be like, and like, no matter what you do, he's like, this is brain dead, okay? This is a brain freeze. The guy should not be one of the most powerful men in America, but he is. That's the world we live in, because he will not give up power. This is Dianne Feinstein. She died in office. She was 90 years old. She was 90 years old, and she was still working, and she died in her office. And she was a senator in the United States. These people are literally fighting for life. Okay? They refuse to give up power. They only give up power if they die. This is the US Senate, again, the most powerful political institution in America. These are people who are above the standard retirement age, which is 62, okay? This guy's 90 years old, and he's still working. 90 years old, and he's still working in the Senate. And he doesn't want to retire. Chuck Grassley.
Jeez.
So it looked like a fucking old folks home.
I know, dude. It's the nursing home.
That's ridiculous.
Wonder if they do like crocheting, and wonder what kind of activities they do after they have a meeting. Yep.
That's who's making decisions for us.
I know, Brian. It's crazy.
You know,
and we keep voting them idiots back in.
That's what I was about to say. That's the worst thing is we keep fucking putting them in there.
But they don't give us any other person to vote for worth a darn, man.
And that's the other issue is, do we actually look for a grassroots person in our area?
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Dude, let's weigh this out now.
Okay.
Who's to say they're not allowing anybody to come up?
Oh no, I agree with that portion. I agree with that too. But what I'm getting at is we wait until somebody, this is how I know who fucks running. So I see it on television or I see a sign in the yard. I'm not actively involved in any of the other shit, right?
Right.
So who's to say that they don't have, a young guy or young woman that's heavy into politics that's actually out there right now that the community could be pushing? I don't think, I know I don't give enough shit about it. I'm sorry. I mean, I should. I really should.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. It's, it's like why they don't give us a better option. And my first thought is, I mean,
we're not promoting nobody.
We're not promoting anyone.
Yeah, but
it's me too. It's me too, though.
But if I promoted you, Brian, if nobody funded you, because like I said, the puppet master isn't funding. He wants those lifers in there, man, because they're running the machine that he wants.
Oh no, yeah. What I'm getting at is, you would need somebody that would start at let's say a mayor, and then from a mayor he becomes a representative, and from there, you working him up. You see the potential in him, and even though he's not picking up these people,
right,
you're not getting the votes because he has this following. Is what I'm getting at. We don't get enough into our local politicians to really understand who they are. I don't.
Right. No, I don't either. I couldn't even tell you who our mayor is.
No, but a lot of the Democrats and the crazies on both sides, I mean, they're locked in. They're the ones that's just, just looking at the voter, whatever you think, the list or whatever.
Right.
Who's coming up, who's in the midterm. I mean, they want that shit. I enjoy talking about it, but I'm not following all that stuff. And I should. We all should.
Yeah, we should give a crap about what's going on. And they're like, our listeners are like, here you guys are ranting and raving about this, and you don't even know this, that. I don't. I really don't.
I'm just being honest.
I voted for I'm 50 years old, and I voted for the first time 10 years ago.
Exactly. And I voted for the first time. I voted when 94, but I haven't voted against till, 2020?
Yeah.
So however long that was. So yeah. And I was 19 in 94.
But I think we get grandfathered into that because I'm sorry, and y'all can disagree with me on this. Not saying you agree with it too, but we wore the uniform, so sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I
people would always say I couldn't bitch because y'all don't vote, and my whole thing was that's just a stupid argument.
It
Convince
is.
me to vote.
Yes.
So you voted. What you did? You voted. You went one day and you hoorah. Great. You sacrificed a lot for your country. Hooray for you if that's how you feel. But if you want to convince me, if they want to convince me how to vote, I'll listen to them. But I hated that argument.
Yeah.
You can't bitch because you didn't vote.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Shut up! I'll fucking snatch the life.
I
out
wish
of you.
you would. See, that's already getting that mentality. We're wanting to fight. Bryan wanting to fight. So come on, say it again there, Haas. Let me punch you right in the mouth.
All right. So we talked about Bibi Netanyahu last week, and I wanted to share some more shit with you. Yeah. I just want you to get just how good of a man this man is. All right, check this out.
To get somebody to blow up a bus full of children or a building full of innocent civilians, you have to grind it into their minds. You have to wash their brains and tell them there is a higher cause out there. It's religious, ethnic, racial, whatever. And for that higher cause, you can disregard all the normal rules of morality.
That was from an Oliver Stone documentary.
Mm-hmm.
So all you got to do is, if you want to get somebody to blow up a bunch of children, what?
But
that's the chosen one, man. That's the chosen one.
I know. Is he explaining how like jihadists do that, or is he explaining that
I don't know. That's why I told you where it's at. The problem I have with that is, I don't know. I have a problem with it because I don't know terrorists. You know what I'm getting at? So I don't know how to get in the mind frame of a terrorist to tell you how a terrorist would do that.
Right.
So he has to be in that type of mind frame regardless to be able to explain that to you. You know what I'm getting at?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess my whole point is he is not domesticated as we are.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's not normal just to be able. Even if he asks, well, how do jihadists get to where they can just blow and bust? Well, if you do this,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I've never done it before, but
yeah,
if you do this.
Hey, hold up. Hey, hold on. Hey, yeah, is that dude gonna blow that train up? All right, cool. Yeah. All right, yeah. I've never. I don't know. I just heard on the street this is how they do it, but yeah.
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 You know?
Offer them 100 virgins and
that's how we roll.
Yeah. Or what was it? Bonnie Blue or
Bonnie Blue,
Bonnie Blue, whatever the hell her name is. You're going to get 1,057 virgins. They're all going to be standing in a line. You're going to set a world record.
12 hours.
You get 12 hours. You're going to set a world record.
Need 58.
58. Yeah.
Or be an overachiever like her and go 150 over.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Just make sure nobody reaches that goal again.
Think about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You had to.
I want to make sure nobody does this. I'm not doing this crap again. So we're gonna take it. If somebody beats this record, they can have it. Nasty. Yeah, she probably would say that. She'd probably spin it around and say, "Man, they're nasty."
Well, if you had to take 100 dicks in your ass, that's all you had to take. You had to take 101 to beat a record, but you decided to take 250. Why?
Yeah. Or he took 101. I might as well take 100 more.
Just give me 100 more.
Jeez. All right, what's up next, man? Because we're getting way off subject that one, man.
All right.
You might want to add a little preview at the beginning of this, edit it in, like, hey, if you got a kid in the car or listening, you might want to.
No, everything I put it on has explicit lyrics.
Oh, okay.
So it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't go on anything that's kid friendly.
I would never in my life think that I'd ever have the sticker on my CD that said explicit lyrics, 18 or older. But
All right.
anyway.
So last week we were going back and forth about Israel and, you know, they being the chosen ones.
Mm-hmm.
And then I found this clip on actually Israel explaining they're the chosen ones.
Values which I see as the core of Israeli society nowadays. 3 or 4 sets of values which explain everything, in my view. The first, very deep-rooted value, and let's face it, is the value that we are the chosen people. Seculars and religious will claim so. And even if they don't admit it, they feel so. And the implementation is very simple. If we are the chosen people, who are you to tell us what to do? Who are you? Who is the international community to tell Israel what to do? International law? Who? Wonderful thing. It doesn't apply on us. It applies on any other place on earth, not on Israel. Because we are the chosen people, don't you understand it? The second very deep-rooted value is obviously the value of we, the victims, not only the biggest victims, but the only victims around. I don't recall one occupation in which the occupier presents himself as the victim. Not only the victim, the only victim. If to quote here the late Golda Meir, whom I quoted also last time, I know, but it is so unforgettable I have to use it again. She once said that we will never forgive the Arabs for forcing us to kill their children. We are the victims. We are forced to kill their children. Poor us. And as the victim and the only victim in history, again, it enables us the rights to do whatever we want, and nobody is going to tell us what to do, because we are the only victims. To this, there is a third very deep-rooted value, and this is the very deep belief, again, everyone will deny it, but if you scratch under the skin of almost every Israeli, you'll find it there. The Palestinians are not equal human beings like us. They are not like us. They don't love their children like us. They don't love life like us. This is very, very deep-rooted in Israeli society, and maybe that's the key issue. Because as long as this continues, nothing will move. As long as most of the Israelis don't perceive the Palestinians as equal human beings, we are so much better than them. We are so much developed than them. And we are so much human than them. As long as this is the case, all our dreams, and we have some dreams, and I'll get to them, all our dreams will never become true as long as this core issue will not change.
Now, when you dehumanize people, and when it doesn't matter, you know, if they die or if because they just basically just taking up space in your world,
right?
That becomes a problem, man.
I know, man. Dude, that stuff's public. I mean, guys, we just aired it on our podcast. It means it's out there that they're acting and saying this, and they don't care.
And somebody might say, well, that's just one person. He is bold enough to say that in front of a group of people.
Yeah, if the country,
so it's
if the government of Israel, if Israel government did not agree with that, they would have handled that dude. He probably still wouldn't be alive. And the second thing is they would come out and say, listen, we do not agree with that statement. That is not how we handle ourselves.
And
they ain't said shit.
They might have. I don't know.
Whatever, Brian. They didn't say shit, dude. They're like, preach.
But here's a supercut I found today about Israel and Zionism beliefs.
When there is a war, it doesn't matter who your enemy is. You need to destroy their offspring to prevent them from creating more offspring.
So you dehumanize a group of people in human society, and you prepare them for the kill, for the butchery.
But it's time to limit the First Amendment in order to protect it.
The way we solve anti-Semitism is pretty goddamn simple.
Take control over what they are saying.
Send their ass to jail. It's not complicated.
And quickly before it's too late.
We're monitoring political Islamists and Christian nationalists, all of them. And then we train. We're the largest trainer of law enforcement in America. Extremism hate. We train 20,000 officers every year.
Try that again.
Because of the comments made online about the Jews to you.
We deeply value our partnership with law enforcement. We've been working with them literally since the FBI was founded in the 1930s.
Is that your account? We're going to have a whole division within the office of the Special Envoy to combat anti-Semitism that is going to work on technology.
We must take all of our technological expertise and all of our available resources to develop methods to launch and win a significant counter-information campaign.
Because it's not working. Too many young people have never heard of the Holocaust.
The only solution right now is for the governments to decide that all the Jews are a protected minority. That means that the government will be obliged to provide the security.
Upgrades to security. Jewish community shouldn't have to be paying for it. We have to pay for our own armed guards? Are you serious?
Any candidate running for a seat in this building, whether for Congress or Senate, we will target them as they target us. Accordingly, we will start a fund to help their opponents.
I'm going to make a warning to somebody else, and that's American Gentiles. The minute your country is taken over by anti-Semitism, the minute you start to be a country that's not blessing Israel but cursing Israel, you have begun the process of shrinking away from your empire. The Jewish project is done, we're going to be fine.
For decades, American society allowed Jews to live normal lives. This was a pleasant holiday from our destiny. The holiday is over.
The Western culture that stands against the Jews is going down. The West will survive only if it decides to love itself and if it decides to love us, the Jewish people.
The Jewish people are not normal. We never really were.
And now that Israel has turned the entire geopolitical situation on its head, our job in the diaspora is to leverage those wins and win here. Do to our enemies here what Israel did to its enemies there.
Yeah, they just flatten it. I'm amazed at how these people talk, and I'm not saying this is all Jews, by no means, but I'm amazed that people say that in public forums. Yeah. So what I was saying is, it blows me away that what these people are willing to say in public. And
Right.
again, I don't think it's all Jews
Right.
or whatever. It's just you got to feel really strong about something to think that you're better than somebody.
I
and
know,
to
like-
publicly say that you're better than people that you don't know.
I mean, I don't understand how they're saying this stuff.
No, I mean, you said last week, and I'm sure you might not have seen this side of them, but you said last week that they were the chosen people. And okay, I assumed that this was like, I'm not going to say a running joke, but they're just the chosen people. I didn't think people actually believe they are the chosen people.
Right.
That to me is a little darker than I thought it was going to be.
Well, and that's the thing that I'm getting at is that it's they're so into that they think that that's just what they get to do, right? They think it like I told you, I think Israel as the chosen people of God is not per se. They all think that they are, and I don't believe that.
I don't know how you walk around thinking that. How you cannot be humble enough to understand that? Yeah, everybody is good at something, and some people are better at you at some things. But to be a chosen person by birth,
Right.
every one of you, your
Right.
whole lineage,
Mm-hmm.
no. That to me is just a problem.
Right.
All right, so let's go ahead and let's look at this fucking war that we're in now, or whatever you want to call it, the battle or the epic fury or whatever. And I see many people, justifying the attack on Iran, because it's going to free the people that's been enslaved or whatever, and then they killed, some of their protesters.
Right.
And yet these people will fight with their neighbor, like we was talking earlier. It's like the government just plays us just to move our emotions anywhere. And how, like I said earlier, how are we the moral compass of the world? How is it that we think everyone has to be like us?
I mean, is that no different than what the Jewish people or Zionism or whatever these people were saying earlier about they're better than, other people?
Right.
Is this our way of saying we're better than other people by making everyone else be like us? So I looked into this, and while we are a proud country, and I'm very proud to be an American, but we're a nation that does not trust our government at all. And so I looked into this, and it's just 17% of Americans right now say that they trust the government in Washington, D.C. 17% of the U.S. trust their government. And the trust's been low for decades. The current one that measures the lowest that has been in like 7 decades, or since they started tracking this shit. And last year was around 22%. So when I look at the graph, like in the mid 60s under President Johnson is where it peaks out at. And it's like it's 77% then. And then it drops and it goes down and then to around 35% in the 1980s. And then it kicks back up during the first Iraq war and then under the second Bush during 9/11, and it just drops off down to 17%. Even 9/11 didn't get up to 60% support. And we were pretty damn proud after 9/11. Everybody had American flags. Everybody loved the country. That's one thing about 9/11. Everybody loved the country, at least for 2 weeks when it was a fad. It's sad, but it's true.
Yeah, for 2 weeks.
I remember riding around and seeing flags everywhere after 9/11, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. I agree. Everybody should be patriotic. I fly a flag myself, but these people were doing it because that was the thing to do at that time. That's the whole reason.
Yeah.
It's sick.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so we had 17% that we trust our government, yet our government should tell another government how to run their government, to run themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Make that make sense.
It don't.
It just bad.
Dude, it was like my in-law or my mother and father-in-law, and God rest their souls, they've been passed away for a while. But I told my wife, your parents have been married 7 times and divorced 6. Maybe we should not be seeking marital advice from them.
Yeah.
I know that's your mom and dad, but
unless you want to know what not to do.
Yes. Now we can sit back and watch what they're doing and take notes, but I don't think we'd be getting advice from them.
Not for a lasting.
No.
They'd be like, look, you ain't got to worry about all the shit that she wants, all the shit that he wants. Y'all work it out. If the shit don't work out, just find you another one.
I know. No, the bad thing, like I said, they were divorced 5 times from each other and married 6 or something like that. It was a lot of numbers.
From each other?
From each other.
Oh, damn. I missed that part.
Yeah.
From each other.
Yeah, let me slow her down there. Yeah, from each other. So they had like a laminated marriage certificate, dude, and a grease pencil. And some of that monkey cum to clean it off with.
Was it monkey cum or was it elephant cum?
I had to take you back to the Marine Corps with the
grease pencil
stuff.
The monkey cum. That's what I'm saying. Was that monkey cum or was it elephant cum?
It came in a big bottle, so it could have been elephant. Because I don't think
it had a very distinct smell.
Do I need to Google how much ejaculate a monkey produces at a time?
No, we don't need that right now. All right, so I decided to look at the other countries to see where their trust levels were, and all right, so China is pretty high at 77 and 79%. But okay, you can argue that. Who the fuck's gonna say they don't like the government in China?
Mm-hmm.
It's either you like it or your head comes off. However you want to. The United Arab Emirates, UAE, they stay around 72 to 82%. Indonesia came to please you. They're around 75 to 76%. And that's your highest ones. Norway, Finland, Switzerland, they'll come in around the 80s as far as their government. So that's your top ones. And your lowest ones outside of the U.S., Japan's around 32 to 37%. Argentina, South America and Colombia, they go up to around in the 40%, and United Kingdom and Spain.
Colombia is higher than us? Damn.
United Kingdom and Spain at 33 and 43%. So how about Iran? Now, it was hard to get some of the numbers for Iran, and of course, again, are they correct? I don't know. But they're at their lowest on the lowest estimate they have, they're still higher than us. So they say that the trust levels are likely around 45 to 50% or slightly lower, that they trust the authorities. And all the ones that I scrolled through was like 30 something percent or in the low 30s. I'm like, how can the people of Iran trust their government more than we trust ours? Yeah, I just don't understand it. It's we love our country. It's the greatest country in the world. I believe that. You believe that. Our government sucks. But how can we be the best when we don't trust our government? Isn't our government the representation of us? So we basically don't trust ourselves because we put these people in office. So we think we put them in office. You know, I don't know.
I think it's a proven pact because we keep talking about the pacts, but I think it's a proven fact that maybe we don't, because if we're that down, but dude, where are the polls coming from? Because every time I hear Trump's rating, it's usually by these CNN, MSNBC. It's like Democratic led, like left wing led.
This
polls.
one is it's the major global indices like the 2025 Edelman Trust Barometer and the OECD, which is the Organization of Economic Cooperation.
Yeah, have you ever voted on something like that or took a poll?
No,
I've
but there's
never
all
have.
kind of companies that do polls.
I know, but I'm talking about for our trust thing or whatever.
That one?
Yes.
I can give you the source of that too. That actually come out. These are the people that's been following it for years. Fuck, I'll cut it out of here. It's hold on a second. I'll get it for you. Let me see if it wasn't Fox or anything. It's I can't find it in here. It's a company like Gallup or something, and they've been doing it since the 60s, tracking it.
Okay, but I'm still trying to understand who they're polling because I've never been polled before. I've never seen where you can. I mean, I don't trust anything on my phone.
Okay, you research where they poll it.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'm just what I'm getting at is I'm not. If we were both to get polled today, Brian, we both said we would say we don't trust our government because we don't. I mean, and I think we're starting to question now how much of our vote does count.
No, I agree with that. There's a big question of how much our vote counts, and if
It's
it
probably
does,
just a game, and how do we figure out if this cat won or not?
Who?
Anybody in there in the Senate or Congress?
Oh yeah, they tell us.
They tell us who won.
Yeah,
we don't know.
Well,
we're
they
like, damn. I didn't vote for that dude. I was hoping that other dude would get it. We never say, hold up now. Other than Trump losing to Biden, we all, like a bunch of us raised our hands and said, huh? That's shady. But before all that, nobody ever raised their hands and questioned anything and said, that don't seem right.
Yeah. And with the Iranians, I mean, they were really supportive of us. You
Right.
know, a lot of the protests that they had, and they were hoping that we would come in there. But one thing that concerns me is, I don't know if you've seen that was killing of those kids. They're saying that the U.S. missile had hit the elementary school last Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, what is it, 153 to 180 people, the majority of them being young schoolgirls from 7 to 12 years old and school staff. So if this is true, and I'm going to show you some videos of this. So if this is true, would this sway them from supporting us? You know, if it's true that we killed these kids, could we lose support from the Iranian people?
Yeah, because I thought the Iranian people were praising us there for a while for taking out the Ayatollah
And I think you're right. You know, but
you know what makes me question this one though? Look at the gender, girls. I thought they were oppressive to girls over there. Like they didn't want them in school and all that.
Well, hold on. I'm about to show you. We'll show you the aftermath, and we'll show you the funeral procession. All right.
All right.
So here's the first cut I got. Now, I looked at multiple places to see exactly if this was true, and it is true. Now, they have who struck it? Was it the U.S.? Was it Israel? Was it Iran? Did Iran blow up their own thing? Most of them showed that it's our area of operation, you know, and it happened. There's all kind of speculation back and forth about who did it. Majority of them being that we did it. But there's no speculation that school didn't get destroyed and these kids didn't die. That is not speculated. So my question is you kill all these kids, and if it is you, it's gonna sway these people, you know, against what you, because now, yes, they want to change, but they don't lose their kids to do it. You know? All right, check this shit out. There's a lot of fucking people.
Yeah, I thought I seen a picture of the Ayatollah back there too on one of those things. So I mean, I don't know, Brian, because I know a lot of people were dogging on the government or whatever, and people were commenting from Iran saying, "Hey, I am from Iran, and we're ecstatic of what's going on because we want our country back." And this and that. And then you hear what Iran was doing to its own people during the protests. I mean, who do you believe anymore? I'm just being honest. I mean, do I agree that we're over there doing nothing or doing something? No, I don't.
But what that's got to do with these kids being killed?
I don't.
You don't believe these kids were killed?
I don't know if that was that funeral for it.
Okay.
I'm just being honest.
I looked at that multiple times too, and everything I found was for it to be true. We could find something that says not. It's hard to find information from over there,
right?
And I find a lot of stuff from foreign news, and the foreign news gives you a lot more details, and there's a lot more. Over here, all we hear about is how good everything is. You know, everything's going good. We're doing this. We're doing this. Rah rah rah. Nothing's work. No, you know, everything's gonna be great. And I'm gonna show you in a minute some other shit. And you don't hear nothing negative. There's got to be negative shit.
Yeah.
You know, you just don't get in a fight and not take a punch.
No.
You know, but that's all we're hearing. It's good shit. That I don't believe that. You know, so I go out and I look as much as I can to see as much shit as I can possibly see. I don't wait for anybody to bring information to me.
Right.
But a lot of this stuff I think is going to be buried. And we're going to get a little further in this and we'll discuss this a little more. But my question is if this was real, you know, let's just say you skeptical, you don't believe it. I applaud you for that. But if this was real, would the Iranians hate us for trying to help them and still killing these people, their kids?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, geez, wouldn't we, Brian?
Yeah, but that's what I'm getting at. It's if this type of shit's happening, how long can we keep the Iranians on our side? That's
Yeah.
what we need. We need them on our side, and this
Yes.
type of shit don't help.
No. And the other thing, like you said, there could be speculations that Iran did it themselves, right? The extremists.
Yes, it is speculation on that too. That's what Trump said. I seen on a video earlier today. Whenever he was on the news and he was getting on Air Force One or something, and asked him and Pete, and Trump says, "Well, we think Iran did it," and then asked Pete, and Pete's like, "Well, it's still an investigation, on who killed those kids."
Right. And you could also say that sorry, trying to get my feet sit here. I got cables under my desk. I mean, you would just think that we would have enough intel enough to know that's not a military facility. That's
No, I agree with that. And that's a problem. If that's exactly the point. If our shit is that good and we struck, a place like that, maybe our shit ain't as good as we thought it was.
Right.
No, I think it is fucking good. It better be good as much money we spent on that shit.
Yeah, I mean, we go back up there to the numbers of the THAAD and Lockheed Martin stuff. I mean, and I know it is, Brian. We've seen it. We've seen the intel before, back when we were in the Tactical Air Command Center. It was really good back then. You can imagine what it is now. And I just don't, I'm sorry. Hey, friendly fire, and we always say there's a joke in the military, friendly fire isn't so friendly. I mean, there's no such thing as friendly fire. I mean, if somebody fires on you, it's not friendly. But there's mistakes that are made, and that's usually because, people calling in airstrikes so close to friendly troops because they're pinned down or whatever. That's where mistakes can be made at, because you just get one little digit off, or the pilot or whoever gets one digit off or mishears something. Yeah. But I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. So we've asked this question before, and are we the people here, the U.S. citizens, we the people, are we living on yesteryear? Are we living like we believe how great things were in the past? It's kind of like the quarterback that, been on the team for, 20 years. He hasn't won a Super Bowl since his second year, but yet we're still living on the second year. Are we living like that?
Yeah.
Because if you look at the polling, you look at how we think and everything else, it's almost, and I hate to keep using this analogy, but it's almost like our country is the high school jock that peaked in high school.
Yeah.
we constantly think we're still that same person. It's like, no, you got to get, better every day. And I don't know how we got to where we are, to where, we end up in a war with Iran, because we have a president that was dead set against wars. And here's Trump back in 2011. All right. And we're going to go through a few years with him, but here's Trump in 2011.
Than the president. I believe in strength, but to start a war in order to get elected, and I believe that's going to happen, would be an outrage. This is a great time to negotiate. Unfortunately, we have a president that doesn't know the first thing about negotiation. We have a real problem in the White House. So I believe that he will attack Iran sometime prior to the election, because he thinks that's the only way he can get elected. Isn't it pathetic?
And Obama didn't like each other too much.
Mm-hmm.
And then, where are we at here? It's Trump in 2016.
It was a mistake. The war in Iraq, we spent $2 trillion, thousands of lives. We don't even have it. Iran is taking over Iraq with the second largest oil reserves in the world. Obviously, it was a mistake.
So
George Bush made a mistake. We can make mistakes, but that one was a beauty. We should have never been in Iraq. We have destabilized the Middle East.
But so you still think he should be impeached?
I think it's my turn, isn't it? You do whatever you want. You call it whatever you want. I want to tell you, they lied.
Okay.
They said there were weapons of mass destruction. There were none, and they knew there were none. There were no weapons of mass destruction.
All right.
Okay. And I let that one go so long because I don't know about this nuclear stuff because there's two ways we can play this. Yes, they either still have nuclear weapons, and we were lied to about them obliterating their nuclear weapons, or they obliterated their nuclear weapons. How I said it, they either lied to us that they obliterated, or they have nuclear weapons and they didn't know about it, so their intel was off again. You know,
Right.
here's Trump. I think this was what, last year?
Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated.
They're probably a week away from having industrial grade bomb making material.
Completely and totally obliterated.
They're probably a week away from having industrial grade bomb making material.
So who's telling the truth?
A week away.
Last year we obliterated their nuclear force.
Yeah.
8 months later, they're a week away. Well, they're not the only week and year motherfuckers. Let's listen to old BB Netanyahu. You want to think Fauci was something about moving the goalposts? This guy sounds like some of those climate control nuts where, in 10 years, everything's going to blow up. Yeah, Al Gore. Let's listen to this fucker.
Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year. It could be within a few months.
They have the wherewithal, the stored up, preserved knowledge to make a bomb very quickly if they wanted to do it.
Iran is so dangerous. Weeks away from having the fissile material for an entire arsenal of nuclear bombs.
They're very close. They're 6 months away from being about 90% of having the enriched uranium for an atom bomb. Iran is gearing up to produce 25 bombs, atomic bombs a year, 250 bombs in a decade. Ladies and gentlemen, time is running out.
Iran will be capable of producing alone, without importing anything, nuclear bombs within 3 to 5 years.
And now they have a bomb. You think this might be part of some of the lack and trust of our government too?
Well, you know who we would buy into that if Gavin Newsom was selling it, like his homeless project, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, this is one reason why I really believe that those girls died overseas. And it's because Trump knows his poll numbers are bad. And this shit comes out, about these kids dying. The next thing you know, there's this list comes out. Trump puts this list out of how many American people were killed by Iran since 1979. All right. So it's almost like, yes, we killed some kids over there, but look all the people that was killed since 1979. That's why we're over there. You got to, villainize them.
Right.
And he got the whole record, and I got the whole record here. And I mean, it'll 66 Americans, 17 Americans. So I went through the whole list. I'm like, you know what? I'm interested in this, but I'm not too interested in this. And then before I left earlier, I was reading an article, and the article was about how Trump met with all these people, these different manufacturers, to start, pumping up more of the weapons or whatever they needed, bringing all the defense people that they buy shit from. And they all was discussing shit. And the article was from the AP, and the AP is left leaning. But what they said was, this is how they said it was a failure by previous administrations, by all previous administrations, to not have the stockpiles for the ammunition and all where they need to be. And so I went to the comments, and you look in the comments, and everybody's like, well, Trump should have got this. Well, Biden didn't do this, and Trump should have done this, and Biden didn't do this. And I was like, okay, I don't understand where this is going. And then the next thing was this whole list of all these people that were killed that Trump put out. And I was like, I knew, you can tell that's okay. Now we have this. Look at this. These are all the people Iran killed. That's why we're there. So now they have this list. So my mind went to, so how many people, let's get a total number of people that were killed, Americans that were killed by the Middle East and Iran. And let's look at how many people we killed, because Trump said that this was either killed directly from Iran or through a proxy. Okay. So I did a search on directly us killing Middle Eastern people, which I found out Afghanistan is not Middle East, is actually Asia. So they're not part of this list. The U.S., how many U.S. Middle Eastern people did the U.S. killed since 1979 and vice versa? Okay. And so I got this for Iraq, Iran, Syria, Yemen, Lebanon, Libya. So this is just high level accounts. They can't get it exact. By nation, they said Iraqis between 50 and 300,000. And then Iran, it was 1,000 direct that they killed, including shoot down some kind of airline. And then hundreds of thousands because of them, the U.S. being a proxy between the Iran and Iraq war, because we supported Iraq and we fed them all that. So that's a proxy, is what they're looking at. And it did the proxy is also the same count the way they did Iran. So like if the Hezbollah, if they, killed, that's a proxy of Iran. Mm-hmm. So that would be a number. Mm-hmm. So I ran them all back and forth and then got the totals. So Americans killed across the board in the Middle East was 7,000 to 8,000. And that's including the 9/11. When you include the 9/11, it's around 11,000. So all the people that died during 9/11. And then Middle Eastern deaths by U.S. or proxy ranges from mid 100,000s to 600,000. Okay. Mm-hmm. So the American deaths are 11,000. And then we 300 to 600,000. Let's just say that. So that's 50 to 60 Middle Eastern deaths per American death since 1979. All right. So how about the body count from Israel? Same concept. How many people that Israelis that got killed versus non-Israelis in the Middle East? And just the Palestinians, let's see, they got 150,000 plus. Anyway, let's get all the way to the end of this. So the Middle Eastern people killed by Israel, and this is a conservative total, is 120 to 180,000. Palestinian and Lebanese dominant, and the grand totals. So the Middle Eastern deaths attributed to Israel, hundreds of thousands, mid-range estimate, 150 to 250,000. Palestinians, 75% of the total. Israeli deaths attributed to these countries or proxies, 6,000. Net ratio, 25 to 40 Middle Eastern deaths per Israeli death since 1979. Okay, so when you just look at the numbers, and I'm not saying who's right or who's wrong, but whenever we keep, you can't say that, look, they killed 11,000 of our people if we killed 300,000 of their people. You gotta, at some point, you gotta weigh this shit out.
Right.
Because I always wonder, why do they hate us so much? And then could it be because we're just killing all of them?
Because we're killing people, Bryan.
asked yourself why they hate us so much? You know, death to America. Why? Why do you hate Americans? I don't hate anyone else in any other country.
Well, because I always went off their Quran, their Bible.
You think it's strictly religion?
Well, a lot of it has to do with it. Those people are very religious, and it tells their Quran says, if you don't believe like us, then death to you. And they don't like the American. Well, according what we've been told, they don't like what we stand for. They don't like that we enable women to have the rights they do, and you know what I'm saying. And they don't want our Western ways put on them.
But you think that's why Iran and the Ayatollah and them chant death to America?
Yeah, that's
okay. I'm just curious. I don't know.
No, well, yeah, because I'm telling you, with them or whatever, they like you just have a hate for somebody or whatever. Just like Hitler hated the Jews, and the Jews hate the Palestinians, and I mean,
but who are we supposed to hate?
I don't know. I try not to hate anybody.
Well, I get that, and I think we're taught not to hate anyone. But evidently, these other countries, pretty evident, they taught to hate.
Yeah.
So I mean, that right there puts us behind the 8 ball, because they already have a hatred for other people, and they're dehumanizing people. When you start dehumanizing someone, you make it very easily just to look the other way when someone's getting hurt. Very easily, because they're not even an animal at that point.
Right.
And
no, what's funny though, like I said, they can go out and kill all these protesters in their country, China, all of these countries like that can do that, and nobody bats an eye. Well, we do. We think it's sickening, but their own country doesn't, right? The media doesn't blow it up. You don't have people flipping out, but you see, once again, I'm not saying what happened to the Renee Good and the Petrie was something that should have happened. You know, I wish it would have went down a different way, but you see how many people lost their minds when that happened for 2 people. But these other countries, nobody, because it's a dictatorship, dude. You're not allowed to have a thought. You're not allowed to think. You're just do what.
So how do we know that all those people died during the protest?
Yeah, that could have been AI too.
We don't know anything anymore.
No, we don't. Everything's a lie.
Let's see if so. My next question is: all right, the American the American people don't trust the government. All right, so I would assume that majority of Americans don't want us. I'm just assuming this. Don't want us in Iran. And from the last poll I seen on Tuesday or Wednesday, it was like a 30% approval rating, unless you were like a MAGA, super MAGA, just wanted someone over there, was, above 50, but overall was, in the 30s or whatever it was. So it was pretty low. So if the American people don't want us there, Trump didn't want to go there when we seen him say that. Why the fuck are we over there?
Because we're being told what to do, Brian.
Well, nobody tells us what to do. Here I go. I've got this is Marco Rubio. Let's check this guy out.
Yesterday, you told us that Israel was going to strike Iran, and that's why we needed to get involved. Today, the president said that Iran was going to get.
Yeah, your statement is false. So that's not what I was asked very specifically. Were you there yesterday?
Yes, I am.
Okay. No, were you the one that? Because somebody asked me a question yesterday. Did we go in because of Israel? And I said, you were asking me that follow up, and I said no. I told you this had to happen anyway. The president made a decision, and the decision he made was that Iran was not going to be allowed to hide behind its ballistic missile program, that Iran was not going to be allowed to hide behind its ability to conduct these attacks. That decision had been made. The president systematically made a decision to systematically destroy this terroristic capability that they had, and we carried that out. I was very clear in that answer. This was a question of timing, of why this had to happen as a joint operation, not the question of the intent. Once the president made a decision that negotiations were not going to work, that they were playing us on the negotiations, and that this was a threat that was untenable, the decision was made to strike them. That's what I said yesterday, and you guys need to play it. If you're going to play these statements, you need to play the whole statement, not clip it to reach a narrative that you want to do, all right?
Does Congress have to weigh in? Is the president different and does Congress have to weigh in? And was there an imminent threat? Did you tell lawmakers that there was an imminent
There absolutely was an imminent threat, and the imminent threat was that we knew that if Iran was attacked, and we believed they would be attacked, that they would immediately come after us. And we were not going to sit there and absorb a blow before we responded, because the Department of War assessed that if we did that, if we waited for them to hit us first after they were attacked, and by someone else, Israel attacked them, they hit us first, and we waited for them to hit us, we would suffer more casualties and more deaths. We went proactively in a defensive way to prevent them from inflicting higher damage. Had we not done so, there would have been hearings on Capitol Hill about how we knew that this was going to happen, and we didn't act preemptively to prevent more casualties and more loss of life.
Because of an impending Israeli action?
No, well, let me two things I would say. Number one is, no matter what, ultimately this operation needed to happen. That's the question of why now. But this operation needed to happen because Iran in about a year or a year and a half would cross the line of immunity, meaning they would have so many short-range missiles, so many drones, that no one could do anything about it because they could hold the whole world hostage. Look at the damage they're doing now. And this is a weakened Iran. Imagine a year from now. So that had to happen. Obviously, we were aware of Israeli intentions and understood what that would mean for us, and we had to be prepared to act as a result of it. But this had to happen no matter what.
Okay. So what do you think about that one?
How can you go from one or probably less than 24 hours and you can't keep your story straight?
Yeah. So Israel was going to attack them, and then if they attacked them, then they were going to attack us. So we had to attack. You know what I heard? I heard weakness right there, because this is why I heard weakness. If Israel was going to attack Iran, okay, first of all, if they were going to attack Iran and you just said, okay, go ahead and do it, just let us know whenever you do it, because we're just going to make sure that we got all our defenses up. Okay, that's one way you can do it. Or if Israel's going to attack Iran and you said, no, you're not going to attack Iran. And Israel's like, fuck, no, I am. He's like, no, you're not. So we lost our sack right there. Or Israel said, look, we're attacking Iran and you fucking coming with us. That don't make any sense. To me, he just served that up on a platter. That was just,
yeah.
We had to go because of, Israel attacked them. They were going to attack us. That sounds so pussyfied. Why'd you jump in that fight? Well, if I didn't jump in, then, eventually they were going to come back and they were going to hit me. What? No.
You just wonder, does he go home and his wife says, hey, honey, come here real quick, sweetheart. We're in the confines of our house and all that stuff. Hey, let's watch this. You think you can clean that up a little bit? I mean, you look stupid today.
Yeah, to come back and explain. Oh, and then there's another video, and they asking him and Trump again, and they trying to explain it, and it's, man, I don't know. It's a whole lot like we put in that position, and we sent in another striker group, another carrier. They said this is going to be, the biggest show of force we've had in quite some time. and this was going to be over. We're going to do a 72-hour weekend. We'll be back Tuesday.
Maybe a 96.
Yeah,
no more than 96.
And I don't know how true this is, and I've been looking at it, and it more and more starting to look truthful. But on the sign on the, being a little cautious about it. But they got these videos out there, and whoever it is got fooled. And there's paintings of like jets on the runway and shit, and helicopters, and they bombing that shit. So you see like the video of the bomb like hitting the concrete and shit.
Oh yeah.
Nothing. Yeah. It's like that's pretty good. And they said that that Iran had dug in some of their missiles, and they shit like just popping up out the sand and shit. And I don't know what to believe, but I can tell you this: these son bitches been wishing the motherfucker would for a long time.
Who, Iran?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've been running around, and I hope our guys, get this shit over with quick and get the fuck home. I really do. But we've been running around just
strutting our shit. You know, we've been pushing our weight around, and everybody's just been falling in line. And maybe we figured, fuck it, Iran would too. I don't know. But could be a chance that they're going to piss them off. But before we move on to the next subject, here's Tucker. He's talking about they don't care about the casualties. Listen to this shit.
Is there any other world leader who has more contempt for the United States than Benjamin Netanyahu? No. Pure contempt for the United States. And these people died for him? We've got to grieve over that. It's so unfair. It's so wrong. And yet the people who've advocated for this don't seem to care at all.
Will we take more casualties? I mourn the loss of 3 American servicemen as much as anybody. But this is essentially cost-free to us at this point.
Really? 3 Americans just died for Bibi in a war that nobody wants? In a war designed to hurt the United States? And that's cost-free? And it's a lot more than 3. And I say that with real sadness. It's that attitude that got us here.
There's no cost, man.
No, there's not. It was like that over in Iraq too. So, I mean, I know we don't like to try to look backwards, but you have to a little bit on that. I mean, they don't care.
But the difference is these people are saying it like it's normal.
I know, because you got more media now, or more social media and things
More
like that.
coverage, yeah.
More coverage, and every year
But
it
you
gets
would-
more and more. And
But
it's
you
like,
would think that. Go ahead.
no, you think that they'd shut their mouths, dude, and learn some new way to damn hide this shit, and they can't. They just open their mouth and the shit comes out. And pardon my French, but it upsets me because they don't care. You're just a social security number in the military.
It's so normalized in their circle. I don't know if they realize what it actually looks like to the normal person. You know,
Right.
They're saying something that we're like, why the fuck would you say something like that? In their mind, oh, they just peasants. They don't matter. And you would think that they would be more cautious now because you know that you're on camera, or this guy was speaking directly to a fucking camera. You think you'd be more cautious now because all the surveillance and people having phones and videos than you were before. But now it's just like people don't even give a shit.
They don't care.
But see, he should be getting lit up for saying something like that. You know, but people will be mad today about it and they ain't gonna give a fuck tomorrow. Oh, well. All right. Well, look, check this out. I call this tinfoil hat time. Check out my new gig. I wanted to talk about something that I seen on Tucker, and it was gonna be some tinfoil hat shit.
Right.
And so I figured I'd bring this up. So I was watching Tucker the other day. I was listening to him, and it was they were talking about the control grid, and it really caught my ear. So he had Catherine Fitz on, and she has an interesting take on the attack in Iran and why we in Iran. Catherine is a former Assistant Secretary of Housing under George H.W. Bush and the publisher of Solari Report. She frequently discusses what she calls the control grid. So to get there, we're going to take a step back in time so we can understand a few things. We're going to begin the discussion. We'll go back to 1913. All right, let me see where we're at. So this is the older millennial telling you what happened in 1913.
You guys know that 1913 was the year we actually lost control of our country, right? Oh, and just for historical context, World War I started in 1914. I mean, look, I'm sure that was a coincidence, but let me just tell you all the things that were created in 1913. First, the Federal Reserve, which is neither federal nor has any reserves. It's basically a private bank that just controls all of our money. Second thing created in 1913 was the IRS. And I'm sure it's just a coincidence that it was created the exact same year that a private bank took over all of our money. Yeah, I'm sure it's a coincidence that that was the year they started taxing you. Like, you work, they print, and then you pay them back with interest. Yeah, that makes sense. The next thing created was the Rockefeller Foundation. Yeah, and let's be real, that was all about philanthropy. It's not like they took control of medicine, education, science, and basically the health of the world. I mean, let's be real, all they were doing was donating money. Yeah, it's not like they were buying control of everything. Oh, and that worked out so well, right? Because people are healthier and more self-sufficient than ever, right? Oh yeah, also in 1913 was the American Cancer Society. I mean, that sounds like a good thing, right? That can't possibly be bad, except it was completely funded by extremely wealthy people. But even though it was a charity, they never really gave to anyone. No, they just took their money and invested in pharmaceutical drugs. Oh, and chemo. Yeah, instead of taking that money and investing in companies that were trying to find a cure, no, we'll just invest in companies that use chemicals from the military that were later banned. Yeah, that's a good thing to keep fucking putting into people. Then also created in 1913, the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, which sure, yeah, it's about civil rights. Yeah, totally. It's not about censoring people or, silencing critics. And then in 1914, we had World War I. And that became the first war ever that private industry profited from war. The private industry that's owned by the same families that created the Fed, the IRS, the Rockefeller Foundation, the American Cancer Society, the ADL. Again, just a coincidence. Oh, I'd also like to point out that a year prior to 1913, 1912, yeah, that was when the Titanic sank. And it's funny how 3 of the wealthiest individuals on that ship were the loudest voices opposed to central banking. Oh, and there's also the little tidbit that J.P. Morgan was supposed to be on that boat, but he canceled at the last second. But yeah, that's conspiracy. That's tinfoil hat talk. So what's happened since 1913? Well, the dollar has lost 99% of its value. Our debt has just become like a number that we ignore. Middle class getting fucked daily. War is now an industry instead of a conflict. Oh yeah, and your money isn't real anymore. Like, it's just not real. It's not backed by anything. It's just numbers on a paper that private bank prints. So guys, look, if you're worried about America being conquered or, a rebellion or it being taken over, I just want you to recognize that you're more than 100 years too late. That shit already happened in 1913.
All right. So that's the older millennial giving you a little backdrop on where we're going with this. And next we're going to go over the Federal Reserve.
The Federal Reserve isn't federal, and there's no reserve. It's a private bank, owned by private families, and it controls your money. Right before World War I, right before the Depression, a group of bankers met in secret on Jekyll Island, Georgia. They wrote the Federal Reserve Act. Congress passed it on December 23, 1913, while most members were home for Christmas. The architect? Paul Warburg, one of the robber baron families. While Rockefeller, Rothschild, Morgan, and DuPont bought America during the Depression, Warburg built the system to control it forever. The Federal Reserve prints money. But it's not government money, it's debt. Every dollar created is a dollar owed, with interest. To who? The families that own the Fed. Your taxes don't fund the government. They pay the interest on money the government borrowed from a private bank. And in 1913, the same year the Fed was created, they passed the income tax. Coincidence? They crashed the economy, bought everything, then built a system where you pay them forever. Comment Fed if you finally see it. Follow if want to see what else they control.
Something else I'm looking in is in the Great Reset. And there's a lot of people that talk about the Great Reset back then. And it's got some shady shit with it, but I got my tinfoil hat on, so I'm going to be going there next. Hey, the Federal Reserve is a central bank in the U.S., but there's 222 central banks operating in the world now. So, you got anything before I go on? Got any comments?
No, this is some deep stuff.
Okay. So, let's check this out. Let's see what happens to presidents that go against the central banks.
Every president who tried to destroy the Federal Reserve ended up dead or nearly dead. This is not a theory. This is a pattern. Andrew Jackson called the central bank a den of vipers. He survived 2 assassination attempts. Abraham Lincoln refused to pay the banks their war interest rates and printed his own government currency called greenbacks. He was shot at Ford's Theater. James Garfield publicly opposed the national banking system and called it a conspiracy against the people. He was shot 4 months into his presidency. William McKinley opposed the banking cartels and pushed for government-controlled currency. He was shot at a public expo. John F. Kennedy signed Executive Order 1110 in June 1963. It gave the Treasury Department power to issue currency and stripped the Federal Reserve of that authority. He was assassinated in November 1963. 5 presidents, same enemy, same outcome. The Federal Reserve has never been successfully dismantled. It was created in 1913 in a secret meeting on Jekyll Island by the wealthiest bankers in America. It has never been audited. Pattern or coincidence?
That's not shady, huh?
Yeah. There's that leads to the puppet master somewhere, probably.
Oh yeah, these guys had their strings kicked in these motherfuckers early. I mean, this shit ain't just started. We just starting to see it.
1913, dude. That's a long time ago.
Oh yeah. Okay, so now that we got some background and a little history, we're gonna bring on Catherine Fitz so we can get to know the control grid and where they want us to be. So it's all going somewhere. Just give me a minute. Check this out.
What happened in 1913 is the bankers took control of monetary policy. What they're trying to do now is take control of fiscal policy. Once they get control of fiscal policy, it's going to be much harder to reverse it.
Can you, I'm going to ask a series of really dumb questions.
Okay.
I hope you'll indulge me. What's the difference?
Taxation without representation.
But between fiscal and monetary policies?
Okay. Monetary policy is I control the process by which currency is issued, including through credit.
Yeah,
So I generally govern and control credit issuance.
Yes.
And from that, the currency, the creation and management of the currency. Fiscal policy is when I control the taxes and the borrowing of the U.S. government. Now, because the central bank basically operates the borrowing, it's the borrowing shared. But this comes down as this is the Boston Tea Party moment. Can they tax without representation? So I'll give you a little story. During the Biden administration, Biden nominated somebody for control of currency who was ultimately not approved. The Republicans in the Senate killed the nomination. Before she was nominated, 3 weeks before, she wrote an article in the Vanderbilt Law Review that said the great thing about central bank digital currency, in other words, an all digital currency system, is you have the perfect tool to deal with inflation. If inflation gets out of hand, you just freeze everybody's bank accounts.
Nice.
Right.
Did you see in during COVID when the truckers were striking in Canada?
Yeah.
And they froze their bank accounts?
Yeah.
I mean, we're not far from that. The only thing keeping them from doing that to us is us.
Right.
And we're about to lose that war because no one wants to carry currency anymore. Everybody wants to put their shit on a card or they want to pay with their phone. So our currency is going more and more digital, and more digital means more and more control for these people. So this is the effect of digital currency.
What would be the effect if we wind up with digital programmable currency?
If we move there, then if I want you to not be able to leave your home, your money won't work if you leave your home. If I want you to be able to eat foods made with insects and not be able to buy real meat, your money won't work to buy real meat. If I want you to take a vaccine a month and I mandate vaccines for you and your family, if you don't, I'll turn off your money. So I have complete control of your food, your health care, your spatial travel, everything. So you are no longer in a democracy or a democratic republic. You are in a slavery system.
Which I think that's where we're at anyway. We're in a slavery system, but once they control your money,
they control you.
They control you. Now, in this episode, she brought in, this is why that what interested me about it. What interested me about it was how she linked this to Iran, and it's part of the control grid and the central bank that's within Iran or something just wasn't going to play well with others. I think she explains it in here. If she don't, I'll clear it up a little bit as best I can. Let's check this out.
Iran right now is the big leakage in the system.
How?
Wait,
it's not about their nukes?
No. So, Iran's central bank counts. One of the reasons it counts is because their oil and energy is very important, including for China.
Yeah.
And that's very important in the BRICS system. What the BRICS system is trying to do is to create independent payment systems. But if you're going to come out with programmable money, with digital IDs that are interoperable globally and programmable money that controls in each jurisdiction centrally, you can't afford leakage. And so you've got way too much leakage in the system to proceed with what they're trying to do. And Iran is, and the BRIC nations are a sticking point. And certainly Iran's oil, feeding China gives China greater independence.
So you think that one of the motives behind toppling all these governments was the creation of the control grid we're talking about now?
Right. So if you go back, so you had the wonderful Richard Werner.
So do you understand where she was going with that?
Yes.
Okay. So you remember when we discussed BRICS?
Yes.
I don't know, a few months ago. So BRICS, it stands Brazil, Russia, India, China, South America.
Yeah.
And then they bringing on a few other people. Recently, they have Saudi Arabia, Iran, and the UAE. Okay. For those that don't know, BRICS, they're trying to get their money to where they can trade, internationally, and especially for oil or energy in that way. Right now, the world oil is traded off of a petrodollar, which is backed by the US dollar. So if they can topple Iran's sends, I think it's 20% of China's oil to them. I think I found out. I see. No, hold on.
Well, Iran and Venezuela both together is 20% of China.
It's 20%. Yeah.
So you take them to, that's weird. We got Venezuela first and now Iran. So we're cutting the head off of China, aren't we? We're trying to take control of China.
And then look to see where some of that oil that we took from Venezuela went. I mean, it went to Israel.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's the whole thing. That's what she's saying. So if you take Iran out, now they're not giving this oil to China. China's rates have to go up. So that makes their stability go down, which means the BRIC dollar goes down.
Right.
So the petrodollar stays up.
Mm-hmm.
And then they can eventually work in this currency shit that they're trying to get to.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what she's saying is it's more of a money move in order to get us all locked down. The end goal is to lock it down. Here's something to explain the petrodollar.
What if I told you that the U.S. military actions in Venezuela last month and Iran over the weekend aren't really about removing dictators or stopping nuclear weapons, but something even bigger? The system that helps support $38 trillion of U.S. debt, the petrodollar. Stick with me. Over the weekend, Donald Trump ordered airstrikes inside Iran that reportedly killed several senior figures in the country's military leadership. Most of the coverage is focused on the political fallout inside Iran, but the bigger impact may actually be in the oil market. Because Iran isn't just a geopolitical rival, it's one of the world's major oil exporters. Before the strike, Iran was exporting roughly 1.5 to 2 million barrels of oil per day, and about 90% of that was going to China. And here's the key detail. Much of that oil wasn't being settled through the traditional Western financial system. Iran has been cut off from SWIFT, the global banking network used for most cross-border payments. So many of those transactions happen through alternative systems or non-dollar currencies. Now, here's where it gets interesting. For decades, the global oil market has largely revolved around something called the petrodollar system. Since the 1970s, most oil around the world has been priced and traded in US dollars. That forces countries that want to buy oil to first obtain dollars. And that demand matters. Oil exporting countries accumulate those dollars and often recycle them back into US assets like treasury bonds. Now that process, known as petrodollar recycling, has helped finance US government borrowing. In other words, when oil is priced in dollars, it creates global demand for dollars. And global demand for dollars helps absorb US debt. Now let's look at the geopolitical angle. Two of the largest oil exporters operating outside the dollar system have been Venezuela and Iran. If Venezuela ends up with a new government aligned with the West, and if Iran eventually transitions to new leadership, those oil exports can move back into the dollar system. That means oil sold in dollars, payments moving through SWIFT, and billions more flowing into dollar-denominated assets. At a time when the U.S. government is running trillion-dollar annual deficits, that demand becomes incredibly valuable. So the real question might be not whether this is about nuclear weapons or authoritarian dictators. It might just be about the currency that underpins the global financial system.
No, it couldn't be that.
Mm-mm.
Can't be money.
No. We don't follow the money here.
No. I mean, do you know any of this?
No, I had no idea about that.
No,
but
and that's not even where I'm going with this.
Yeah. I
That's
always
just
thought
something I
Iraq
found
was
along the way.
due to oil and all that, you know.
Oh, the war in Iraq?
Yeah, and now looking at it and hearing your stuff, I think that was part of the puzzle, and they keep putting the puzzle pieces in.
Well, see, the guy that she starts to explain, before all these wars even took place, he said that there was five wars or five wars that will happen in order to get this money in place. And he counted them all, and Iran's the last one. And he stated this well before all that shit took place.
Right.
So he knew that they had to capture those banks and get them in line or whatnot to get whatever they want done. That's why I got my tinfoil hat on. Because
well, thanks for not warning me. I would have built me one.
I just ordered this. I didn't know it was going to be in today.
Oh, well, no, I'm talking, I've got a big old roll of the industrial Kirkland
aluminum
Costco.
foil?
Yeah. I just tinted some steaks earlier. I could have.
Oh, there you go. You could have used the used one.
No, I'm not putting a steak tint on my head. I'd have made me a Hershey Kiss hat.
Well, did you hear about the Strait of Hormuz?
No.
Okay, so that's
well, hold up. That's where all the oil's passing through, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You heard how they keeping all that shit shut down?
Mm-hmm.
And so they got a front somewhere on the ridges around it or whatnot, and they're shooting things down. This is a video, just give everyone a little background on this. And it's got some pretty good information in it. Why don't you check this out?
So Iran closed the Strait of Hormuz, and people were making all these stupid statements like, oh, they can't do that. They don't have a navy, right? And that as if it requires some type of like actual dam, like a beaver dam or a cork to block the Strait of Hormuz. It requires an actual blockade, like this is the Avatar animated TV series. No, they're just launching Shahed 137 kamikaze drones and destroying these, tankers that try to transit, right? They've destroyed 10 already. All of this national and international trade has come to a halt, okay? 80% of the food for the Gulf states relies on, the Strait of Hormuz. Their oil exports, of course. International oil costs have risen to $100 a barrel in the Shanghai market. The oil costs in Russia rose from $37 per barrel, which was like the insane lows, to $59 a barrel, the highest it's been since like 2020, right? So we single-handedly saved Russia's economy. Donald Trump is helping support the Russian war effort in Ukraine. It's a great thing, right? It's really amazing to see how these effects are rippling across the entire region as Qatar is shutting down liquid natural gas production because they can't export it and they can't just keep it on hand. So, and that'll take 6 weeks to get back to national and international, full supply once trade starts again. And assuming that this doesn't, go on for a prolonged period, you're looking at a decent portion of the market being cut off. Same with Qatar shutting off aluminum supply because they depend on liquid natural gas. If liquid natural gas is not being produced and then also exported, then they can't have these blast furnaces, smelters, and total finishing of the product. So that's 9% of the global supply of aluminum. So prices start going up. The U.S. petrodollar demands stability. And that's why Donald Trump is coming out and saying, we'll offer security and insurance for anybody transiting the Strait of Hormuz. But then the naval chiefs are like, no, we don't have the capability to do that. So everything Trump is saying is just an advertisement. It's for the American public audience because people just believe it if Trump says it, but it's just not possible, right?
So that goes back to the beginning that Trump good, we believe. We don't listen to the other side. Again, what's going on in that area, it's anybody's guess.
Right.
Because I don't believe that our news is being truthful. I've been looking at, world news to try to get better ideas of what's going on.
Mhm.
And like I told Jennifer, I don't want to be breaking news podcast.
No.
Having said that, I mean, this shit's going on, so we discussing it. But I like talking about history because it already happened, and that's why I got the tinfoil hat on right now because this is shit that we're going to talk about. So we got that going on, and all of this goes back to what I was talking about with Catherine Fitz. And we're going to bring this all back in on the control grid. And
Now, why do we need to control the world's currency is even darker than you may be aware of. And this is where the control grid comes in. Let's check this out.
For people who haven't seen your previous talk, explain what the control grid is, what it looks like, and what it means.
So the control grid is a process or an infrastructure that allows digital technology to be used to assert phenomenal surveillance and control of people.
Yes.
And at the very heart of it is what I call programmable money. So it's money that is no longer just a currency. It's money that comes with a set of rules that can be surveilled and enforced. So imagine back in the pandemic, if your money, if I said, okay, you've got to lock down and your money won't work if you leave your house. You can't buy gas in your car because your money is programmed with AI and software to enforce a whole set of centralized rules. And programmable money allows the bankers who've been running monetary policy to now control fiscal policy and essentially replace legislatures and executive branch by making and enforcing the rules through the money. Now, that requires a large infrastructure of surveillance. So you need digital IDs, and then you need the hardware locally and globally to do the surveillance and implementation. So, for example, if you look at the local hardware, and now people are seeing it, now that it's material, they're beginning to see it snap into place. So I don't know if you know flock cameras, but there are many communities across the United States that are entering into contracts paid by the taxpayers to put up cameras all around their neighborhood that track license plates and keep that data and share it with a variety of people. Or you have the FCC is trying to overrule local controls on cell towers, so they can literally put cell towers every 400 to 700 feet so that they can have the kind of invasive surveillance you need. Or you have satellites now that can literally beam in Wi-Fi so that whether you have Wi-Fi in your home or not, they can start to track you. And all those systems put you in what I call the panopticon. So we saw in the Middle East with the first war with Iran, we saw 11 leaders out of 12 sort of top leaders in science and government assassinated because they're literally tracking everyone, and they can identify them and track them. And then you have invisible weaponry that can then take them out, or, can identify missile strikes.
Creepy?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we back to what was a Demolition Man.
Mm-hmm.
No, they'll be giving me all these little fucking tickets for cussing all the time.
Mm-hmm. You be a broke scumbag, won't you?
Yeah, it wouldn't take us long. It'd take me long. I'd be broke.
You'd have plenty of toilet paper like he did on there.
That damn, yeah, there was
3 seashells.
Yeah, but that's my swear jar.
Your swear jar, yeah. You're going on an expensive vacation.
All right, here's the second part of that. So basically, that real ID you got, that's part of the control grid.
Is it?
Yep.
Mother effer.
Yep, that's part of the control grid. And
you
she's
got
gonna
one
explain.
too?
Yeah, that's all this digital shit that they're doing is all part of the control grid.
Gosh
dang. They slowly walking us into the Hunger Games, and they're gonna have to throw bread over the fence for us to fucking eat. Let's check this shit out.
Trump was put in by the bankers to get the control grid. He is moving very, very fast. First, he's getting the Real ID implemented very aggressively. Real ID, to do a control grid, you need a very high quality precision national ID. And he's got Kristi Noem out there pushing the Real ID like there's no tomorrow. The feds are pushing it. The second thing you need is an all digital financial system. So you got to kill cash and you got to make everybody interact digitally. He's canceled pennies, but he's also canceled now. Normally I pay my taxes with paper, and now he's saying, no, you got to do everything digital. He's trying to, if you go through that list, I've got 50 different items of what he's doing. If you think this is improvement, you have another thing coming. This is going to be the digital equivalent of the pallets of cash sent to Iraq. You're literally going to tender for the global population, try and get everybody off of their local currency into stable coins, and you're going to pump out massive amounts of private credit to make it really attractive.
And you don't think the BRICS would try to compete with this?
I think as soon as you pass the Genius Act, it can go very, very fast. You could really see the world rock. Trump and Musk are implementing the control grid at high speed. To do a control grid, we need a digital ID implemented that's very high quality, high precise. Check the box. We need an all digital financial system. Check the box. We need a way of doing interoperable money. Check the box. We need a social credit system. To me, I want to build a social credit system that can be used to enforce control against the American people and basically lock them down with both enforcement and social credit. I would privatize it. I would just take it and put it in private AI with XAI and Palantir AI.
Saying a few words that we learned already, flock and Palantir and
Yeah. And then
all
Musk
this-
and Trump. So
Yeah.
wonder if Musk and Trump's little spat was just a cover up.
I don't know. I think their spat was probably spot on because I can see Musk throwing a temper tantrum because Trump told him he couldn't do something.
Yeah, but you ain't heard nothing about it since. But she was acting like Musk is in on this too.
Oh, I'm sure they're still working together. I'm just saying they showed them they had dinner. What it was a couple weeks ago. Musk was at Mar-a-Lago.
Oh,
So I mean,
okay.
yeah, they're talking. They didn't like break up.
I thought they
just kinda
broke up, man. Kind of like
No,
Guns N'
they were
Roses
just
or
mad at
Motley
each
Crue.
other. Just
Yeah.
mad at you. He told him no, and he got mad and went pout.
I'm taking
You
my
know?
Tesla and leaving. Then once it charges.
and she talked about having these data centers and shit. So, and currently the U.S. has over 4,000 data centers that is using for AI development. And I want you to listen to this. This is just one NSA data center. Listen to how much shit this stuff can store. And remember, there's 4,000 data centers for AI.
They have bragged that there is enough memory at this new NSA storage facility in the Utah desert to hold every phone call, every text message, every email, and every voicemail from every American for the next 500 years. 500 years. Silverglade argues that we are so overly criminalized, so overly regulated in this country that the average American on the average day going about his or her normal business commits 3 felonies every single day. Well, what that means is if they want to get you, they're going to get you. And there's nothing you could do to protect yourself. Now, with this situation in the Utah desert, if they decide, I don't like Nathan Farr, so we're going to go through his emails and his text messages and his voicemails, and we're going to figure out what else he's done. Well, again, we're so overly criminalized, so overly regulated, they'll find something to charge you with. I think this is an affront to our civil liberties.
So they're going to store 500 years of data.
500 years.
In one NSA data center.
Dang.
And then, so I was like, okay, that's a little tinfoil. They're moving a lot, And then I know they've been working on getting this this currency set up. I remember it was right after COVID. I don't know if you remember when they were talking about putting a restriction and anything you took out over $600 had to have explanation and all this other shit. That was part of the shit they were looking at doing. And then, ESG scores and, your social scores and all this other shit that they were looking. Well, actually companies still have that ESG scores, but, I'm sure we have them too. We just don't see them. So they probably got our carbon, behind us and, how much we fart and shit like that. Anyway, so then I found this link with DARPA and Facebook. Let's check this one out.
DARPA, the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, is a research and development agency of the United States Department of Defense and is responsible for the development of emerging technologies for use by the military. DARPA had a program called LifeLog, and its goal was exactly that, to log one's entire life. LifeLog aimed to compile a massive electronic database of every activity and relationship a person engages in. This was to include credit card purchases, websites visited, the content of telephone calls and emails sent and received, faxes, postal mail sent and received, instant messages sent and received, books and magazines read, television viewing habits and radio selections, physical locations recorded by wearable GPS sensors, and even biomedical data captured through wearable sensors. The point of collecting all of this data on everyone was to identify preferences, plans, goals, and markers of intentionality. Another of DARPA's goals for LifeLog had a predictive function. It sought to, quote, find meaningful patterns in the timeline to infer the user's routines, habits, and relationships with other people, organizations, places, and objects, and to exploit these patterns to ease its task. Sounds absolutely terrifying, correct? Well, lucky for us, it was shut down February 4th, 2004, over criticism from civil libertarians concerning the privacy implications of such a system. Interestingly, though, on that exact same day, February 4th, 2004, a small and little-known website at the time launched called Facebook. No, I'm not joking. Not in the slightest. The exact same day that they shut down LifeLog, Facebook started. Lucky for us, though, back in 2020, on Twitter, the official DARPA account came out to reassure people that LifeLog and Facebook have absolutely nothing to do with each other. Even though certain employees of LifeLog went to work at Facebook, it's nothing to worry about. Right. Once you learn all that, it makes you look back at all those news stories that you heard over the years of Facebook selling user information to other companies, and all this stuff seems pretty obvious now. We've been played, ladies and gentlemen.
We've been played.
Yeah, so they developed a program to track everyone, to understand and build algorithms to get them to go there, and then they make it Facebook, and then they track you. But you know what's funny is you do it voluntarily, then you click the terms and conditions every time. You don't know what the fuck you signing up for.
No, I did that the other day, and I was like, I probably should have read that, but I didn't.
We don't. We just, because we trust so much. We don't trust our government, but we trust them.
They got our best interest in mind.
They always do. And one of the issues with the AI-driven world, especially when it comes to weapons, is having the human intervention, and we discussed that last week. Human intervention when committing acts of violence or eliminating the threat. But we are now beyond that, and this may be one reason why Anthropic would not change their terms of condition, resulting in losing their government contracts last week. You remember that when we discussed that? Here's remember Palantir we discussed also a couple weeks ago?
Yep.
Oh, here's a little story on Palantir.
You have created the system which you call kill chain.
Privately. Publicly, the lawyers have some innocuous something like tech for the amelioration of unwanted blah, blah, blah. For me, it's the kill chain.
Kill chain sounds good.
Kill chain isn't an original term created by Palantir. It's the more general military verbiage for the series of decisions leading from identifying a target to taking their life. Palantir's contract added their software and artificial intelligence to the kill chain.
It's quicker and better and safer and more violent.
It reduces the distance you have to the problem, but when you're able to take a step back and really see the actual application of these technologies, your whole world starts falling apart, which is something that, definitely happened to me.
Juan didn't leave Palantir entirely for ethical reasons. He just got another job. But the reason he eventually started speaking out against Palantir came after watching the Israeli invasion of Gaza following the October 7th attacks. Palantir has contracts with the Israeli Defense Forces. The exact nature of the contracts is opaque, intentionally, but there is evidence to suggest that Palantir's artificial intelligence tech was used for selecting targets in Gaza. CARP doesn't mind the controversy. In fact, it's part of the marketing.
We are very comfortable being unpopular.
Palantir works with health insurance companies to build AI for denials management to protect revenue.
Do you want Palantir's AI making decisions about what care is covered for you and your loved ones?
And what we do is we use what legal scholars call predicate-based search. So we would look at you, and then we would go out and say, oh, there's lots of different things in your life that may be indicative
of someone involved in bad behavior.
Put simpler, they make software that makes it easier for their customers to collect and analyze data, and then act on that analysis. By 2013, 10 years after their founding, Palantir's client list included the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, the Marines, the Air Force, Special Operations Command, and more. Palantir already has contracts with the IRS, going through taxpayer data to save auditors time by finding the easiest audits to pursue. That's all of your financial information. And they have multiple contracts with the Department of Health and Human Services. HHS's core responsibility is Medicare and Medicaid. That's control over millions of Americans' health records and their access to healthcare.
As we kind of increasingly live in a simulated world, we move closer towards governance by algorithm. But more importantly, subject to decisions made by the people who are influencing these AI systems in order to fulfill an agenda for whatever their profit-seeking or control-seeking objectives are.
So they're going to put you in that control grid, and then they're going to track you with fucking Palantir, and if you get out of line, they're just going to take you out.
Yep.
That is just fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing you can do about it. You all right?
No, I mean, I'm just remembering a guy that used to work with us when I was over at Owensboro, and he said he went to another company, but he was a big conspiracy theorist guy, and he said that there was some Air Force general or whatever on his deathbed that admitted that there was preemptive drone programs to strike unruly states that might try to uprise against the government because drones don't think. So somebody just uploads the software and lets them do what they do, and there's no recourse. There's no human recourse about it, right? So
you got what? Plausible deniability.
Yeah, well, the drone isn't going to turn itself around and be like, no, I don't feel good about this, or you see what I'm saying? So
yeah,
that states like Texas, Mississippi, Georgia, Kentucky was one of them. So anybody that they thought would stand up to the government.
Oh, you're talking about our government?
Yes, our government.
Our government wouldn't do that to us.
Yeah, whatever.
I don't know if we have drone capability. We might have drone missiles. Or maybe.
What do you mean?
I don't know how much.
We have drones that have weapons
Do
on
we?
them. Yes.
Okay. I wasn't sure because we don't use many drones in war. It seems like
No,
like
yeah, no, they take them out. They take. Shoot. Let me look. Let me find out which one it is that has the.
Then why we aren't using our drones against Iran and shit? Why we using our 12 million?
Yeah, you can't be showing all our shit. They do use them. You just don't hear about it.
If they were that good, we would hear about it. You know what I'm saying? Everything I'm reading and all is like the drone warfare is we're behind on it because we don't build them, or we don't build them enough of them. Like all these other countries, they can build these things cheap, but we're behind in drone warfare. Now, I'm not saying we don't have a drone that can fly around and shoot something, but actually have a fleet of them that actually do it. I was thinking our drones are more like.
No, it's the Reaper. Look up the MQ-9 Reaper. There's a.
That's the thing that we talked about earlier that old boy built.
Yeah, the Reapers carry weapons. They carry missiles on them. They can drop bombs. They can fire missiles.
Yeah, so that's like a UAV. That's not like a drone that's actual missiles. So what I'm talking about is like flying drones just to blow up something. You know, you talking about flying a drone and shooting something with the drone.
Yeah, I'm talking the guys that sit in the box and control those drones that fly around and do surveillance. The Reaper is the one that they use to take out targets.
No, I'm talking about like drones that blow up.
Yeah, that's you're talking about the little bitty drones like we would go buy at the store or whatever that they've got bombs on them. They got bombs on them.
I understand that, but they showed the size of these and they ain't little bitty fucking drones.
Yeah, but
I mean, there was a guy standing next to it and it was bigger than him. But it wasn't
one that shot things. It was a bomb.
That's what I'm saying. They have programs built where nobody has to be in a box controlling this thing. It'll just take off. A bunch of these would and take off and start carpet bombing states that they don't like anymore. That's what this general said on his
I'm not
deathbed.
doubting that. When you were saying drones, I was thinking like the drones are just like you shoot them and they fucking hit something. Like they might drive them too, but they're kamikaze drones. I guess you would call them.
Yeah, no.
All right.
Yeah. So anyways, I mean, it's scary. It's scary, the technology we have. And then you got AI. So they release AI to us, and I'm using it for coaching notes and for reviews
shit, yeah.
and stuff at work and resumes and things like that. And they're like, yeah, get it, Jason, get it. While they're back there using it to put us in check. I mean, that's what it's going to end up doing.
When you think back to it, the
Mhm.
internet was probably the greatest and the worst thing that happened to human civilization.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's move on from that. I saw the other day, I was reading an article from Blaze Media, and it said the auto pen, no one will be prosecuted. Remember the auto pen?
Mm-hmm.
Department of Justice closed its investigation of Joe Biden's alleged use of the auto pen to issue a record 4,245 presidential pardons. And it said why. And the reason why is because it couldn't find a legal hook to prosecute the case. Federal prosecutors and U.S. Attorney Janine Pirro's office are dropping a criminal probe into whether former President Joe Biden and his aides unlawfully used an auto pen to issue pardons. It wasn't Biden, it was his aides, I'm sure. And this just shows you right here. I mean, it's a two-tier fucking justice. A lot of these pardons he got are preemptive pardons. I mean, he preemptively pardoned these people, and a lot of them is his family. So he got preemptive pardons on January 19th. So right before when they switched, January 20th, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
So January 19th, 2025, in the final minutes in office to shield them from potential reprisals, recipients included James Biden, who's his brother, Francis Biden, his other brother, Valerie Biden Owens, his sister, Sarah Jones Biden, that's James's wife, John T. Owens, that's Valerie's husband, and Dr. Anthony Fauci. He got a preemptive pardon to protect against potential prosecutions related to the COVID-19 response. And General Mark Milley, Liz Cheney. The other preemptive pardons went to members and staff on the January 6th House Committee and some police officers who testified before it.
Because they lied like dogs.
Yeah, that is just, man. And they wonder why they got a 17% approval rating.
Or trust
from their
rate,
people.
yeah. Because nobody trusts your ass. I just looked up auto pen. I didn't understand I heard of it, and it says it's an automatic pen or auto pen is a mechanical device used for the replicated signing of a human signature.
Yep. And
so basically, that thing could crank it out as quick as they could do it.
And it's what they say they would normally do with that is if he had to make a bunch of signatures, he would like, so if he signed an executive order, it would be his signature. And if he had to make a bunch of other signatures for a bill, they would use the auto pen. So they say every president used the auto pen for something or another.
Yeah.
But for writing pardons and all, and they're thinking that somebody else did it because in some cases where the auto pen was used, he wasn't even in Washington, D.C. And when you look at his son's pardon, you can tell like he wrote it, but the other ones don't match. And there's all kind of scandal with the auto pen. So I don't know exactly how they just shut that down. Again, nothing to see here.
Nothing
to see here. Oh, and Christy Nome, she's gone this week. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah, I've seen that.
She 220 million on a damn commercial. The taxpayers paid for her to promote herself and Trump. 220 million. I don't know how many. That's a commercial. I don't know how much it costs to make a movie, but I'm assuming you can make one probably for 220 million. She made a fucking commercial with your money, and then she hired what it was Save America Media. Their LLC or their business started 8 to 11 days prior to being awarded the contract. That wasn't shady.
No.
The company was reportedly run or tied to the husband of Nome's former spokesperson. They didn't put a bid out for the job for the 220 million. Oh, then along the way there was rumors of her fucking the top advisor Corey Lewandowski. I guess Lewandowski. They asked her that question on a Senate hearing. She didn't say yes or no. She just said it was kind of rude for them to ask, basically.
Well, I just Googled what movies were around 220 million to make, and it said The Avengers 2012 was estimated at 220. Transformers The Last Night 2017 was 217. The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smog was 217, and then Men in Black 3 2012 215. Aquaman The Lost Kingdom 2023 was around 205. So yeah, she could have made a pretty good movie for that.
Could have made a pretty good movie. Nope, got her riding around a horse.
Yeah, I bet you. Bonnie Blue or whatever, she she didn't spend nowhere near that. She set a record.
And I'm sure there's nothing shady about the company that she hired.
No, I mean
these people are just gross, man. They just take your fucking money.
It's not. I'm tired of calling it wasteful spending, man. It's theft. I mean, they're straight stealing that.
I said they taking your money.
I know, but I'm just saying we always call it. Wasteful. I mean, that's theft.
And I didn't want to get into Epstein tonight, but I don't want to let go of all the horrors that we see against kids. And this week, Tim Tebow testified before the Senate. I don't know if you've seen that. And if you don't know who Tim Tebow is, he's a former NFL quarterback, but he's also been a child advocacy activist. So he testified before the Senate March 4th. And during the hearing, he got this visual of this map, and I'm going to show it to you in a second. The U.S. map's covered in 338,000 red dots, and sometimes cited nearly 340,000, each representing a unique IP address linked to the downloading, sharing, or distribution of child sexual abuse material, primarily involving children under 12 years old. And this data came from a Department of Justice database and covered just a 6-month snapshot. 1,000 IP addresses.
That's messed up, dude.
That's messed up. Listen to this. I had to combine two of them together to get everything on there. Let's check this out.
Every one of those red dot maps is a unique IP address that is downloaded, shared, or distributing child rape images, almost all under the age of 12. And that's just a 6-month screenshot of it. And there are over 338,000 on there. There's blue dots on there. You can't really see them, but the blue ones are the ones that are under investigation.
In a sea of red.
Isn't that a problem of what we're talking about? The number's not 57,000 like we said 2 years ago. It's over 89,000. We are losing the battle and we are losing the war, and boys and girls are suffering for it. And to give you an idea of the scope of what's happening in America, there's a red dot map right over there over my right shoulder, and that's just a 6-month screenshot of the U.S. And every red dot that is on there is someone that is downloading, sharing, or distributing child rape images, almost all under the age of 12. And there's over 330 of them just in that 6-month screenshot. And we know that 55 to 85% of them are also hands-on offenders, and we know that your average offender has 13 victims in their lifetime. The scale of harm right here in America is, to a certain extent, hard to comprehend. But that's why we're here. And when you knock down one of those doors, you also have no idea how many boys and girls you're going to find. From Operation Renewed Hope 1, one of the doors that was knocked down, when they went in and seized his computer, they found that he also had raped 30 other boys and girls in that neighborhood. So there's a lot of work to do. And Ranking Member Durman, you're right. We have to be able to act. A little over a year ago, I was at one of our protection centers, and a protection center has extra security because there's still a bounty and a price on these girls and young women's lives. And I was walking through the counseling rooms, and I walk up to one of the counseling rooms, and it's this beautiful couch, and it's got teddy bears and toys and children's books in it. And right behind the couch, there's a window. And right behind the window is the wall, and it's the edge of the protection center. I look up to the top of the wall, and it's the razor wire all the way around the top. And I'm just looking at this picture, and it's a surreal picture because inside, those girls are going to be cherished and loved and protected and cared for. But on the outside, they went through an earthly form of hell. And I'm standing there looking at this picture, and one of our team members comes and whispers in my ear as I'm looking at this picture. And he said, "Man, isn't it such a thin line between tortured and treasured?" And he was right. It is a thin line between tortured and treasured. And you are that thin line. And all of you are that thin line. But we have to have more people on that line, and we have to do a whole lot more, and we have to do it faster. Because every day we wait, they're suffering, they're crying, and I believe right now many of them are praying that we would respond. But how are we really going to respond? Because I ultimately also believe that this is what we're called to do.
Pretty dramatic, huh?
Mm-hmm.
It's unbelievable the amount of child sexual abuse we have in this country.
Mm-hmm.
And we think we can trust our government. I mean, that is just, it's sick, fucking sick.
How are they going to protect us when they can't even protect kids? And like he said, the blue dots are the ones that are being investigated in the sea of red. There should be more blue dots. Should be more than the red dots.
The blue, or if I remember right, was the actual people trying to investigate.
That's what I'm saying. The Interpol is investigating.
Yep.
But I'm saying,
I heard you wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. It's minor. I mean, it's so minor. 89,000 plus unidentified series. 6 months of 338,000 red dots on that map in 6 months. And a possible of 89,000 being investigated out of that. That's horrible.
Yeah, that's horrible.
That should be 300,000 investigated.
Yeah, it should be the opposite way.
Yes.
You should have 300,000 investigating 89,000.
Yes.
How do you let that get out of control, though? I mean, how do you feel? I said this about, Israel earlier. If you're doing this to this extent, you have to feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm getting at? So how do we allow these people to feel so comfortable in our country to do this shit? And there's multiple videos, man, I got of guys that's just getting their ass beat. There's vigilante guys that go out and they'll, set up these little stings, and these guys will show up and they'll just slap the fuck out of them. I mean, beat the fuck out of them. Look, you can either take this ass whooping or you're going to jail. And they beat the fuck out of these guys.
Well,
and I applaud them for it.
There was a guy doing that I think his niece was predatored or whatever. So now he poses. I think he uses his niece's photo, and I think she's 18 and older now, but he poses as a 13, 14-year-old with his niece's old photo on the internet. And then he gets people to meet, and then he has cops there. And it's crazy how many people they were busting doing that. And it was not that, who's that one dude? on Dateline or whatever that was doing Chris Hansen.
It.
Yeah, Chris Hansen. It's not the Hansen. This dude's actually carrying on conversations with these people for a while, and then they meet up, and the cops are sitting there, and they get arrested. But how long are they in for, Brian?
Yeah, that's what I'm getting. At some point, the consequences have to outweigh the risk, and if the consequences don't outweigh the risk, you're always going to have this type of shit,
right?
You know, and I don't know how bad it has to get. At some point, you're going to have to bring back public justice with shit like this. You can't keep letting grown ass people hurt kids and not have people just step up and just start doing what's right. You know, it's because evidently the police department and the law enforcement can't do it, you know, and it's sad that it has to get to this.
Right.
But the problem is the guy that's going to go out, you know, and do something like that. There's a story. This guy ends up in prison. His son's molested. He finds out from his son, and he goes to 4 different houses and shoots the people, and then he goes to prison.
Mm-hmm.
And I get that, you know, because you know, as a father, how hard it's got to be to live with yourself, knowing that your kid got raped by a dude or it's a chick or something. You know, just it's got to be hard. I can't say I understand, but I know it's got to be hard, and I can understand that you would feel hurt or feel like, you know, you should have done more or could have done more, and I'd want to kill people,
right?
You know,
I think we covered that one that the girl got molested, and the father tried the cops first, and they said there wasn't enough evidence to go, so he went over there and got the dude to admit it and then killed him. And then that gave them the evidence to go into the house, and they found all the computer stuff, the pictures, all that, because of the homicide. And he went to jail, but at least no telling how many girls that he saved doing it.
Yeah,
or kids, you know. And it's sad that the law works against. I mean, I understand. No, I don't understand it.
I don't understand it in that instance at all.
Yeah, why? That's not being a vigilante. That's just saying,
that's
you know what?
protecting your family.
Yeah, I didn't just see this shit on the news and go out and start trying to stop this stuff. That was my daughter. And you're not protecting her, then by God, I will.
They got that one sheriff that shot, was it the mayor
or the judge? The judge,
yeah, for molesting his daughter. Yeah. I get that.
Yep.
You know, I mean, it's a tough pill. I'd hate. Me and Jennifer were talking about that today. You know, that it's almost. She said that it's sad that it's sad that you feel like you've done something good as a parent if your child hasn't been molested today. Because so many kids are molested. And then I told her, I said, you know, what's sad is we don't really know that nothing happened to our kids. You know, maybe they just don't tell us.
Right. Yeah, because they went and spent the night with people and all that stuff. And I don't know.
We don't know. All right. Well, while we argue, you know, left to right, you know, blue, red, green, purple, whatever, this type of shit's happening all over our country in every fucking zip code. You know, and this is the shit you can't make me believe that majority of the country can't stand behind this. Stand behind our kids not getting molested, our kids not getting raped. If we can't, I mean, then we're too far gone. And this is why we can't stay divided. I wanted to play this video to bring us back to where we were when we started the show. Let's check this.
Have you ever wondered why we're so divided? Left versus right, conservatives versus liberals, red states versus blue states. It's like we're living in two completely different Americas. But here's the thing. This division isn't just some accident. It's a carefully crafted design. Think about it. When was the last time you had a calm, reasonable conversation about politics with someone from the other side? It's become almost impossible, hasn't it? We've been conditioned to see each other as enemies, rather than fellow citizens with different perspectives. The two-party system wasn't created to give us choices. It was created to limit them. By forcing complex issues into just two boxes, we're missing out on the nuanced discussions we should be having. Healthcare, education, immigration, climate change, these aren't simple left or right issues. They're human issues that affect all of us. Here's what's really interesting. While we're busy fighting each other, we're not paying attention to the bigger picture. When we're divided, we're easier to control. When we're focused on our differences, we're not focusing on the common challenges we all face, like economic inequality, corporate influence in politics, or the erosion of our civil liberties. Look at social media. The algorithms are designed to show us content that confirms our existing beliefs and demonizes the other side. We end up in echo chambers, where our views become more and more extreme. We stop seeing the humanity in people who think differently from us. But here's the hope. More and more people are waking up to this reality. They're realizing that the real division is not between left and right. It's between the powerful and the powerless, between those who benefit from keeping us divided and those who suffer because of it. The solution starts with recognition, recognizing that we're being played against each other, recognizing that our neighbors aren't our enemies just because they vote differently, recognizing that the most powerful forces in our society want us to stay divided because unity would threaten their control. So next time you feel that knee-jerk reaction to dismiss someone because they are left or right, pause for a moment. Remember that this division isn't natural, it's engineered. The first step to breaking free from this system is understanding how it works and refusing to play by its rules. We're better than this artificial division. We're capable of nuanced thinking, of finding common ground, of working together for real solutions. The question is, are we ready to break free from these manufactured divisions and start seeing each other as fellow humans again?
Pretty good, huh?
Yeah, that's spot on. Can't say it any better.
No.
ChatGPT couldn't do that any better.
Pretty sure ChatGPT did that.
Yeah, it probably did. That's why I like it, even though it's probably plotting to take us out if we don't comply.
Oh yeah, it'll get you. Your blood pressure's off. You gotta go.
Yeah.
we can't afford your medication anymore. You gotta go.
Yeah, you're done.
Now check this one out. This one's it's a joke. Jennifer didn't catch it at first, and she was like, "I didn't find that funny." Then towards the end, she kind of got it. So just bear in mind that it's a joke, and you'll get it because it's a religious joke. But I enjoyed the hell out of it. Check this out.
People think the world's gone to hell, that it's gotten so violent. But the world never got violent. There is no God. The world has been violent since the beginning. Cain killed Abel. Cain killed Abel. The third person on the planet killed the fourth person on the planet. We weren't even able to make it to 3 people before somebody was a murderer. At one time, a third of the people on the planet were murderers, right? A third of the people in the hood aren't murderers. A third of the people who own guns aren't murderers. A third of the people in jail aren't even murderers, right? San Quentin, Alcatraz, Folsom Prison are safer than the book of Genesis. You thought Compton and Baghdad were tough? Try downtown Eden when the sun goes down. There was murder and violence at person 3. One couple had 2 boys who had the world to themselves, and one of them was claiming this town ain't big enough for the 2 of us, right? Cain killed 25% of the world's population. That's more than Stalin, Hitler, Idi Amin, Pol Pot, King Herod, Genghis Khan, Manifest Destiny, typhoid, cancer, AIDS, cooties, all combined. Cain killed a third of the people he knew. He knew 3 people. He killed one of them. If you knew Cain, you had a 66 2/3% chance of survival. There's no such thing as the good old days. There was like one good day. It was half a day. Adam and Eve were naked, alone, in an oasis. Lunchtime came. People got hungry. Apples were eaten. Boom, Detroit.
That is, yeah, I'd like to play that at church. That'd be funny.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought I at first when I first played it for Jennifer, she was kind of had mean mugging me, and then at the end she got it. I said, "It's a joke, but it does make sense."
No, it's true. I mean, the numbers, the percent. I hate percentages, man, because they use them at work, and when you're in a small system, percentages are higher, right? Because it doesn't take as many people to drive the percentage up.
Yeah.
And I can't stand that. So anyways, yeah, but no, I totally understand. I mean, the out of 4 people, the first 4 people, one of them was a murderer, and that's where
Laws
it
of
started.
averages.
Yeah, what did they say in the Marine Corps? There was only one thief. Everybody else was just trying to get their shit back.
That's right.
So
I wanted to end on something good. I don't know if you saw that female pilot that was over Kuwait, and the Kuwaiti people went got her or whatnot.
I think I heard something on it.
She was shot down. Let's check this out. This is actually pretty good.
You're fine? Really? You need something to help you? No problem, you're safe. You're safe, you're safe. Everything good? No problem. Thank you for helping us. Everything perfect?
Thank you for helping us. Everything good? That's humanity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, no matter where you at, that lady, you know, no matter how great of a person she is or how much she believes in herself, at that moment, I'm sure she's nervous as hell.
She probably
someone
ran that
approaching
plane out of gas, though.
Think? She took the wrong turn somewhere.
Yeah. They gave her a headache, and she said, "What the hell is that? Do I go towards Target or away from Target? I don't know."
Yeah, so I was supposed to take a right at Target? No, at the IKEA. Oh, what was it?
Her Starbucks.
Yeah.
Go get her nails done. Dang, dude, I'm gonna get in trouble. That's
That ain't right.
Hey, we said we go joke a little bit at the end, so it's, her fuel gauge was bloop, bloop, bloop.
She was riding the E, man. She was riding the E.
50 miles the E. I can make it on. Nope, you didn't.
She tried like hell. Yeah, I thought that was a good story, though.
Yeah, that was more funnier than the Cain and Abel thing, though. Oh, something else. I seen something else on TikTok or whatever, man. It had me cracking up, and I can't remember what it was. And I felt bad. It was ornery, but gosh, I wish I would have saved it. But anyways, it had me dying laughing at the hotel the other night.
Now you're going to hell.
Yeah, whatever. No, I'm loved. I'm loved and forgiven. So and that's what we all need to do.
Sleep. We lose an hour of sleep tonight.
I know, man. And I was going to skip worship tomorrow, but I forgot it. the guy that has to do the verse and the prayer isn't going to be there, and I have to fill in for him. So
you the verse and prayer guy tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm a deacon, so I have to fill in for that. So
all right, well, we'll get out of here then. So everyone, just think about it. We don't have to play their game. Talk to your neighbor. Reject the false choice. You know, that's how we take our power back. You know, and we weaken them a little bit more. This binary choice shit just got to go. I don't know how we got to there, when we got to there, but the world is not binary. It's just not. You know.
And one last thing: stop throwing your morals away because you can't stand somebody. So if your enemy believes in something that you totally believe in too, then that's common ground. That's not a bad thing. But when you throw your morals away because I can't stand that guy so much, I'm not going to agree with him. Really, that's sad. We need to stop doing that.
That's childish.
Yeah.
That's what
Stop
it is.
trying to be right and just learn to know what's right. That's what I'm in search of, is what is right. Not trying to be right, but what is right.
And sometimes you even got to question what right is.
Right.
Because right might change, you know, because I do my best to, you know, to try to speak correctly and, you know, have if I tell you something, it's because I believe it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for the most part, it's because I looked at it, or if I tell you, you know, about, 90% or something, but I'm not trying to genuinely lie to you. So if something, gets said to someone and it's not right, I'm not trying to lie to you. I'm just trying, to have a conversation.
Yep.
And if you know something that I don't know and you can enlighten me on it, then I learned something.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
I mean, that's how I look at it.
Yes, sir.
All right. You got anything else, Jason?
No. Good podcast.
All right, guys. Well, like, share, comment, subscribe. This is the Sense and Senseless podcast. I am Bryan.
And I am Jason.
He's Jason.
Peace.
Peace.